You know it's this. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowed like sis. Did it perfect in the kid. Got a billion who sang on my head. Look up better put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million. The devil that shit ain't not cheaper than again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the 13th part of What If Naruto Enters Witch? Special note, this fanfic is written and a masterpiece of pyrohelixdrago, co-written with KFB Anime 87 on fanfiction.net. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. Later. Where are we? Hey Lin asked, seeing they were in an empty town and it was dark. Hey, let me in, a young Naruto yelled, banging on the doors to an orphanage. The girls were surprised to see a young version of the man they loved looking sad and afraid outside all alone as a child. I'm done being harassed by the third to look after you, just get lost you demon scum, a woman on the other side of the door yelled. Naruto stopped banging on the door and soon dropped to his knees. Why is it only me that gets treated like this? What did I ever do to anyone? I'm just a kid, he thought as tears poured down his face. Will couldn't stand watching this and neither could the others, so when Will ran to Naruto and her hands went right through his body almost as if he wasn't even there. Guys, this is a memory, we can't change anything, Terane said, knowing that since they were in Naruto's head they couldn't change anything in here. All the girls hated watching this as it made them feel powerless, but suddenly the image of Naruto began to fade. What happened? Elian asked, not knowing how to react to feel about that. The memory might be over, Hey Lin said suggestively as she didn't know what else to say. Well, what now? Cornelia asked as the scenery around them changed to a shitty alley. Not one word Irma, she said, knowing Irma would make a comment along the lines of asking and you shall receive. Irma pouted a little but stopped as she heard a small growl, and when she looked for the source she found Naruto beaten, cut up, bruised, and some BLD stains on his clothes. Guys, she said, feeling like she needed to throw up as Naruto looked to be around the age of her brother, and the thought of somebody doing what happened to Naruto made her terrified and angry that something like this could even happen, especially to Naruto. I hate this place, Hey Lin said, not understanding how people could be so abusive to an innocent child like Naruto was, and the other girls shared her feelings of anger. You alright kid? A man said, wearing some kind of chef outfit. Naruto didn't say anything as he just sat there almost as if he was waiting for something to happen, and as the deadly silence between the man and child continued it was interrupted by a loud hungry growl from Naruto. You hungry little guy? My stand is literally around the corner, it's on me, the man said, extending his hand to Naruto. Maybe not all the people here are bad, Hey Lin said as they found themselves at a stand where they saw Naruto sitting on a stool being bandaged up by a 16-year-old girl who, when she heard someone call Naruto a freak, started unleashing a savage beating on the person who said it. The girls enjoyed watching the beating, but to their disappointment the image of the girl and the man she was beating faded, but not Naruto and the man inside, and when they went inside they saw Naruto looking at the man who gave him a big bowl of ramen. It's okay kid, dig in, and if you're ever hungry you can come around every once in a while, I'll give you a discount, he said, making Naruto let out some tears of joy as he started devouring the ramen in the bowl. I'm making him a big pot of ramen, Will said, as she always thought it was an addiction, but it seemed to be more meaningful than that. Oh come on, Elian said as they were now at a different location where they were surrounded by kids. Are we at a school? She asked curiously. Oh, it's Naruto's ninja school, Hey Lin said as Naruto told her about this place before. That sounds awesome, Irma said, wondering if she could see something awesome like stuff Naruto's shown them. Their attention was drawn to a tree where Naruto was heading, where there was also a girl with pink hair was sitting. Is it okay if I sit here? Naruto asked the girl, looking a little nervous. OSHT, he has a crush, all the girls thought in realization. That's so cute, Hey Lin said, thinking puppy love was adorable. Please, Cornelia said, as even though they were children she could tell the girl wouldn't develop much of anything and didn't know why Naruto even liked her, as when she looked around she saw a fellow blonde and a girl with white eyes behind a tree looking at Naruto. Oh come on, not all the memories have been bad, Elian said, not seeing how this could be bad. Get lost loser, why'd I want to sit with some clanless loser like you, the pink-haired girl said, getting some applause from some nearby students and some glares by a handful of people nearby. Naruto started walking till he bumped into 3 kids, one with black hair like a pineapple, husky fellow eating a bag of chips, and a kid who had wild brown hair and a little white puppy on his head. You really are troublesome, the kid with black hair said, yawning lazily. You alright, man? He asked in concern but still managed to sound both tired and lazy. You want some chips, Naruto? The boy with a bag of chips asked, thinking it might cheer him up. Forget her, buddy, she won't amount to nothing anyway as a ninja or a chick, I mean she's as flat as a board and just look at that forehead, that ain't natural, the boy with the dog said, and the dog seemed to bark in agreement. Thanks guys, Naruto said as he was glad he gained some friends. Now let's go watch clouds and eat chips, the boy with black hair said, taking out a bag of chips which made the boy with a now empty bag smile brightly. The girls now saw that they were in the woods and saw a wounded man pinned against a wall with kunai cutting certain parts, making it hard for him to move. What is this decree and why does everyone else know about it? Naruto asked in a combination of desperation and confusion. Don't tell him it's forbidden, the man pinned against the wall said angrily. The decree is no one can tell you that the 9-tailed fox is inside you, the man in the trees yelled, surprising the girls as they saw the look on Naruto's face and soon realized that this was the moment Naruto was told the truth about him being a Jinchuriki. He went his whole life to this point not knowing the reason he was mistreated, they all thought, not knowing what to think. The fox spirit that killed Irika's parents and destroyed our village has taken over your body, you are the 9-tailed fox, the man said, shattering Naruto's mind with the realization of how much sense it made to him. The girls saw how lost Naruto was and saw he hadn't even taken a breath. They assumed he might have been in shock, but then he went straight into denial as blue chakra started swirling around him as he angrily repeated, no. That's right, you will never be accepted into this village, even your beloved sensei hates your guts, the man in the trees said, smirking evilly as he took a giant shuriken from his back and started twirling it. Now die, demon fox, he said, throwing the shuriken directly at Naruto. The girls closed their eyes, not wanting to see the younger version of the guy they liked get brutally injured. Naruto, get down, the man against the wall yelled, and not a second later the shuriken made that flesh-piercing sound, and when the girls opened their eyes they saw that the man had taken the shuriken to the back to protect Naruto. Why? Naruto asked, unable to understand as to why his sensei risked his life for his when the reason his parents died was right inside his body. Because we're the same, the man said as blood came down his mouth. When I lost my parents no one seemed to care about me, they just forgot I was there, and when my grades dropped I became the class clown. I just wanted them to see me and know my name. My schoolwork didn't seem to get their attention. I did crazy things, then I had to pay for it. It was hard, and I know that's how you feel, Naruto, he said as tears poured down his face as he gave Naruto the absolute truth. You feel lonely and it hurts inside, and I could have been there for you more. But I let you down. No one should have to suffer that much. No one should be alone like that, he said, wanting Naruto to understand he knew what it was like and that he would be there for him. The man in the tree started laughing. Don't make me laugh, he said, directing that towards the man with the shuriken in his back. Irika always hated you. He was orphaned because the 9-tailed fox killed his parents, and that beast is inside you, he said to Naruto. The girls hated the man in the trees and felt terrible inside when they heard Irika's story. But it was nowhere near as bad as Naruto, but it didn't make it any less terrible. Soon the scene shifted to another spot in the forest as they saw both men in front of a tree Naruto was hiding behind. Why are you protecting that freak? He's the one who wiped out your family, the man said, trying to persuade Irika. I don't care what you say, you're not getting your hands on that scroll, Irika said with an unmovable resolve. As if you can stop me, don't you get it? Naruto is just like me, the man said, pissing the girls off as they all had one thought of what he was, scum. How's that? Irika said, not understanding what the man was implying. He wants the scroll for his own power and his own vengeance. That's how beasts are. He'll pour all his rage into the scroll and destroy everything, the man said, believing what he was saying. No, was the collective thought of the girls, as they knew like anyone else Naruto had his moments of being angry and almost crossing the. You're right, Iruka said, surprising everyone there. So it's true, Iruka-sensei never believed in me, he thinks I'm some beast, some kind of freak, Naruto thought as the girls could see the pain in his eyes. That is how beasts are, Iruka said, getting everyone's attention, but that's not who Naruto is. He's nothing like that, he said in full confidence, unknowingly making Naruto freeze and lighting the unquenchable fire that is his spirit and will. Naruto is one of a kind, works hard, puts his whole heart into it. Sure, he messes up sometimes and everyone jumps on him, but his suffering only makes him stronger. That's what separates him from being a beast. So you're wrong, he's nothing like the nine-tailed fox. He's Naruto Uzumaki of the village hidden in the leaves, he said, believing in what he said with all his life. The girls were happy and a little sad that Naruto was crying, but the reason was because they were tears of joy that Naruto finally had someone who believed in him. The scene soon changed to a crappy apartment that was covered in garbage and dirty clothes, and they could see Naruto eating ramen. Thank God he keeps his new place clean, Will thought, as his house was always clean and tidy, and this place was the complete opposite in every way possible. Naruto, if you keep eating ramen you'll stunt your growth, a man with lopsided spiky silver hair said, holding a basket full of vegetables. They both quickly disappeared, leaving the girls confused to who that was, but they soon saw the same guy as the scene changed with Naruto. Kakashi-sensei, can you please train me for the Chunin exams? Naruto asked as he needed some major assistance if he wanted to beat Neji and get him back for what he did to Hinata and keep the promise he made from her BLD that Neji spilled. Sorry Naruto, I need to focus on Sasuke, but I found you a good teacher, Kakashi said as a man with pure black glasses and similar clothing to Kakashi. The girls were curious to who that was and glared at the man who was showing obvious favoritism and was pawning him off on someone else. Him. Naruto exclaimed as the scene around them changed to see a bunch of Naruto clones say, Sisi Jutsu, transforming them into naked big-breasted female versions of Naruto, rushing the same man they saw, making him have a massive nosebleed, making him fly back. Most of the girls except for Cornelia had no idea what to say as they knew their boyfriend could transform, but transforming into a naked female was kinda an insult to their pride as women. At least he doesn't do it now, everyone minus Cornelia thought. I wonder if he could teach me that, Cornelia thought, wondering what the technique could do for an actual woman. The scene started changing to an open field with a nearby waterfall. Both Naruto and his sensei were standing around doing nothing. There has to be a faster way to do this, Kakashi-sensei, Naruto asked, not wanting to just sit around as his friends fought the Akatsuki and faced almost certain death. The girls watched as Kakashi and Naruto made clones who soon left the originals and watched the clones play rock paper scissors and then poofed themselves as Naruto's clone beat Kakashi's. They then went back to where Naruto was yelling at Kakashi, you knew about this since the beginning and tell me now, he yelled, as this would have been useful information years ago. The girls laughed at this as they knew that clones gave the original its memories. Thank God he told us, they all thought, glad he was forthcoming with details, unlike his sensei apparently. What's next? Irma screamed out, making the girls curious as to what she was doing. Has she finally lost it? Cornelia asked, to no one in particular. No, I'm just waiting for where we're going next, Irma said as they soon found themselves in a casino. Lady Tsunade, please stop, a woman with black hair holding a well-dressed female pig. Can you not lose? An older version of Naruto yelled, probably in his adolescent stage. Shut the hell up, a blonde woman with a massive bust said, very drunk as playing a card game and quite possibly had the shittiest hand ever, and when her opponents revealed her cards. Holy CRP, look at her melons, Elian said, seeing the pair the woman had as they were bigger than all of the girls present. Oh yeah, she didn't see the photo, Cornelia thought, remembering how she overreacted seeing the woman's picture the first time. Wonder if my melons will ever get that big, she thought curiously. Okay, step aside, I'm taking over, Naruto said as he moved the blonde woman aside. Hey, how much does she owe? He asked the guy on the other side of the table who wrote down the amount she owed and passed it to Naruto, whose eyes widened, making him sigh as he took out a small money-stuffed toad. "Deal me in," he said, receiving some cards. Half-hour later. Tsunade had a mixed look of jealousy, anger, and joy as she, Naruto, and the woman with the pig left. "Naruto, you were amazing, you just cleared a fifth of Tsunade's debt," the woman with black hair and a pig said, very happy. "Yeah, how did you do that?" Tsunade asked, very angry and happy. "Easy, I'm not a thugger like you," Naruto said, referring to her nickname, which he soon regretted as she put him in a headlock and started giving him a nuggie. "Let me go, Granny," Naruto said as she started increasing her speed with the nuggie. "She's his grandma?" Lin said in surprise. "That would make her around the same age as my grandma," she said, knowing her grandmother was in her late 50s and this woman appeared to be no older than 20. "What's her secret?" Elian asked, as a lot of women would kill to look like that at 50 or any age for that matter. "I'm not that old brat," Tsunade yelled angrily. Naruto wrestled his way out and started running. "You use a henge, so that's bullshit," he yelled as he laughed as she started chasing after him angrily. The Guardians soon laughed at this tidbit of information and were glad they got to see some people in Naruto's life that cared for him. They were soon brought to a hot spring where they soon saw Naruto relaxing in a hot spring. "Finally some eye candy," Irma said, never getting enough at seeing Naruto's body. "You know you'll get caught, right?" Naruto said, not opening his eyes. "I am a MSTR of espionage, I won't get caught," a man with spiky white hair in a ponytail said as he was on top of a tall wooden fence hidden by the steam. The girls seemed appalled that this old pervert was spying on women, and a little angry Naruto didn't seem to be doing anything about it. Naruto let out a sigh as he took 2 shuriken out and threw them between the lines of single plank, and when they hit the plank it tilted forward, sending the man into the women's section where loud unmanly screams could be heard as women yelled in anger as they beat up the old man. "Does anyone else feel strangely satisfied?" Elian asked, as this seemed like justice to women everywhere. All the girls nodded, but something strange happened as the area around them started changing rapidly. "Idiot, pervert, loser, orphan," those were the insults called by the pink-haired girl, both young and older, along with multiple images of her punching Naruto to the point where he was bleeding. The girls were appalled by this as there were dozens of images and each one made them more and more angry. "If I ever see that I'm punching her lights out," Cornelia said, getting nods of agreement from the girls as they knew with her super strength she could bench press a truck. "I'll kill her," Lin said, as seeing all the images of her hurting Naruto made her despise the pink-haired girl, which surprised everyone, but they said nothing as they felt the same way. They soon found themselves surrounded by fog on a bridge. "The hell are we?" Cornelia asked as they tried looking through fog to see a bunch of mirrors surrounding Naruto and another boy, both of them looking like pincushions from all the needles in them. "You'll pay for this," Naruto said, clutching the boy in his arms. "Is his body steaming?" Terane asked, seeing the mist around him begin to rise and burst everywhere along with a red vortex spiraling around him, tearing up the ground, and when Naruto lifted up his face they were shocked by how beastly he looked. Naruto's whisker marks were now more defined and he now had bigger canines and BLD red eyes with slits. "I'm gonna kill you," he said, sounding more deep before. The girls minus Elian had seen that look Naruto like this before, wanting to hurt a person for hurting someone precious to him, and that was tame compared to what they saw now, as Naruto started a violent assault on the mirrors, which revealed a person coming in and out of it trying to go for a killing blow, but when Naruto got a hold of her he started to violently punch the person repeatedly with brutal force. The memory soon changed to something that horrified them all to their very core, Naruto being held up by a boy with a navy blue shirt and white shorts who had his hand piercing Naruto's chest right through his left lung. Will looked at her hands and started shaking a little as she recognized the technique instantly as Naruto taught it to her. "Why would he teach me this attack?" she thought, not knowing if she could continue using that attack. Irma instantly turned pale from seeing this as it terrified her to even see this happen. Terane started silently crying as tears poured down her eyes seeing this, as this was truly horrible. Cornelia started shaking in fear, forgetting that even though it was memory, Naruto looked like he would die from that injury. Lin reacted in the only way she knew how to do. Whenever she saw a bloody brutal scene like this, she started to vomit the contents of her stomach. He's a dead man, Elyin thought as remembering his face, so she knew who she had to put down for hurting Naruto in such a gruesome fashion. I'm bringing you back to the village, Naruto said, fighting against the pain from the gaping hole in his chest. The boy smiled. You're too weak to do anything, he said, smirking evilly. The boys disappeared but were seen at a different location. It's too late now, Naruto, the boy said, throwing Naruto from really high up and jumped after him, locking up his limbs as they soon dropped down, Naruto hitting the ground head first with a massive amount of force. The girls looked at this in horror, wondering how Naruto survived such force to the head without it splitting in two, but soon the scene changed where the two were now on opposite sides and transformed. Naruto was in his fox cloak with a broken arm and another puncture wound above it, using his only usable arm to make a purple-colored Rasengan, while the boy seemed to have gray skin, two giant hand-like wings, a black pointed cross-like mark on his face, and red eyes with 3 black dots on it. And black where the white was, and he was also made a black lightning Chidori. The girls watched as the two jumped, charging at the other, shouting each other's names, revealing the boy's name was Sasuke, and when they collided, they made a giant expanding ball of black energy which soon started to change into an explosion of chakra and lightning. Man, this guy looks like an emo boy band cover, Irma said, trying to defuse the obviously tense situation, which actually got the girls' laugh. With Narissa. Narissa had spent the whole day looking through Naruto's memories, not knowing what to think as she had watched absolute horrors and held a deep hatred for this place. She was glad the memories she was in showed this place absolutely destroyed, but not liking the state Naruto was in, she soon felt something approaching, so she decided to use some glamour to hide herself. Whoa, Will thought, seeing the giant crater they were in, and soon realized that this was Naruto's home. Ah, Naruto yelled, getting the girls' attention as they saw Naruto pinned to the ground with black rods into his knees, sides, shoulders, and hands. The girls were surprised and angry when they saw this, but stopped in fear as they got a closer look of the person who did that to Naruto, and what they saw was the Rinnegan in his eyes. They saw it was different from Naruto's blue ones and knew some things Naruto told them, such as elemental control, gravity manipulation, and other somewhat godly abilities. They were brought out of their thoughts as a girl with dark blue hair showed up and tried to attack the man with the Rinnegan but couldn't make contact. She confessed her feelings of love and got into a fighting stance. She soon charged her hands, which transformed as she yelled, "Gentle fist, twin lion fist," and when she started trying to punch him, she made contact with him. She made a dash toward Naruto, removing a black rod from him, and was soon blasted away. She soon started crawling toward Naruto, and when she made it to him, she tried removing the black rod from his hands. "Why would someone as weak as you try and resist?" the man with the Rinnegan asked, wanting to know, "When you'll only die," he said, fully intending to put her down. "Because I never go back on my word, because that's my ninja way," Hinata said as Naruto stared at Hinata in surprise right before she was sent flying and was brought down violently and stabbed in the back. The girls didn't know what to say as they watched a girl who apparently loved their boyfriend just be stabbed, and when they looked at Naruto they saw how wide his eyes was. It looked like his soul was crushed and he didn't even take a breath, and suddenly his eyes burst red and a massive amount of wind blasted in every direction as a BLD red pillar of chakra appeared around Naruto. A face seemed to form in front of the man with Rinnegan, as he taunted Naruto about him hating him. The face in the pillar soon let out a loud wail before it revealed Naruto starting to get up with each black rod breaking. As he did, his skin turned red and he transformed into a miniature Ninetales, only having 4 tails, and it immediately began his assault on the man with the Rinnegan. He moved erratically as he unleashed a violent attack on the man, getting in some good punches as the man blocked a lot of them. The girls had seen Naruto use his fox cloak but never like this, and it honestly scared them by what the cloak did to him, as it made him into something he wasn't, a monster. The thing Naruto transformed into started to change. It gained 2 more tails and now had an outer skeleton. Narissa was growing tired as even the mage ring had limits, and adjusting the glamour around her as the scene of the fight changed was quite a challenge, and she believed she acquired enough useful information from Naruto's memories that she may be able to use for herself. "Time to go," she thought before she looked at the 6-tailed Naruto and yelled out one word, "Quintessence." She yelled out, sending a bolt of lightning toward the six-tailed Naruto, disrupting the memory. "It's her," Will said as an old woman in a navy blue robe appeared and then suddenly disappeared. "Fantastic," she thought sarcastically. "Ugh guys," Terane said, sounding worried as she looked at the six-tailed Naruto. The other girls saw that the six-tailed Naruto was looking right at them and the scene around them changed back to the sewer, but the six-tailed Naruto was still there, slowly approaching them. "OSHT guys, it's real." Irma yelled in realization before the six-tailed Naruto charged her and sent her crashing to a nearby wall. Cornelia summoned up some wooden vines as she remembered Naruto once told her that the Nine Tails lost to a wood user, as wood had the opposite elements of the Nine Tails and was a force of nature itself, and restrained the six-tailed Naruto. She looked to the others who were all gathered around Irma. "Is she okay?" she asked, rushing toward Irma, and saw that she was bleeding on her side. "She has some broken ribs and she's losing blood, Terane said, looking over Irma's injuries. Cornelia applies pressure to the wound, hoping to stop the bleeding. "Come on Irma, stay with us," she thought as her hands started to glow dark green and Irma's wounds started to heal. "Whoa," the others said, seeing their friend heal their other friend. The dark green light around Cornelia's hands started to fade and showed that Irma's wound had healed to the point where the bleeding had stopped and the wound looked like it healed, but it hadn't completely, as the tissue that was in place of the wound looked pink, fresh, and very easy to tear through. "SHT. Irma said as she felt like SHT. "Come on, get up, we gotta go." Elyon said as the six-tailed Naruto was starting to burn through the wooden vines. Cornelia and Lin picked up Irma as they all started moving down the sewer that was Naruto's mind. "Anyone have a plan?" Terane asked as they moved as far from six-tailed Naruto as possible, as they know from watching Naruto's memory that when it got free it would find them in seconds. Will soon stopped running and looked back in the direction they were running from. "We stand our ground," she said as a loud roar was soon heard throughout the sewer signifying it got free. "Will, we gotta move, we can't take Naruto on." Lin said as she knew even with all their powers they couldn't take on Naruto even when he wasn't like how he was now. "Guys, if we run now Naruto still might not wake up and this thing might do a lot of damage to his mind and might even still be here next time Naruto comes here," Will said, not wanting to risk Naruto's health because they chose to run and give up. "This thing might not look like it, but it's still Naruto deep inside," she said, knowing under all that hate and rage was Naruto's kind and gentle soul. The girls knew she was right, so they decided to stand their ground and waited for when the six-tailed Naruto caught up to them, and not a second later it appeared and dashed toward them, but before it could reach them Cornelia once again trapped it with some wooden vines. "Naruto, it's us," Elyon said, approaching him. "Yeah babe, this ain't you," Irma said, holding her side as she moved forward. "You are not the Nine Tails," Lin said, holding her ground, knowing Naruto was too nice to be a demon. "Please stop," Cornelia said, not wanting to see him like this. "Don't let that hag win," Terane said, not knowing what the hag did to him, but knew even if this Naruto was a memory or something else it was still Naruto at his very core. Will moved dangerously close to the six-tailed Naruto without a single ounce of fear and looked him in the eyes. "Naruto, I need you to listen to me. I know you're in there. We're right here and we're not going anywhere. We love and believe in you. Please come back to us," she said, hoping she got through to him. The six-tailed Naruto didn't move an inch as he started to shine a golden light, and after it died down in place of the six-tailed Naruto was a young Naruto before he even started the academy, who looked at them with fear. "Who are you?" he asked, a little timid. Will got on her knees and placed both her hands on the young Naruto's shoulders. "We're people who will always love you," she said as each girl nodded in full agreement. Naruto's house. Naruto's eyes suddenly opened and so did all the girls, and when they saw that Naruto was awake they all tackled him. "Whoa, what's happening?" he asked, a little confused to what was happening. "We'll tell you later. Right now I'm gonna go make you a big pot of ramen," Will said, running to the kitchen to cook the man she loved his favorite dish. "I'll help," Lin said, not knowing if Will's cooking skills improved. Later. "You guys saw what?" Naruto asked as they were all in his kitchen and they just told him something he needed to be sure he heard correctly. "We saw your memories," Will said as she and the others started explaining what they saw. Your village is a bunch of D-heads, Irma said as the ratio from bad people to good was like 100 to 1, and if you dare say I'm wrong you're gonna get blasted with water, she said as she knew Naruto would try and defend them. And Sakura is a CNT. Terane said with flames appearing in her glasses as she remembered the abuse she did to Naruto. Yeah she is, Cornelia said wanting to punch her in the face for all the punches she gave Naruto. I'm gonna kill Sasuke if he's even spotted in Meridian he dies, Elian said as she understood the relationship between Naruto and Sasuke as it was the same as the one she had with Cornelia and that's why it made her so angry even when she was being manipulated by Phobos she would never try and kill or seriously maim her. Sasuke betrayed the bond in that relationship in the worst way possible. Oh come on they're not that bad, Naruto said as they all glared at him daring him to try and defend them. What the heck was VERYYYY researching? Hey Lin asked wondering why the elderly man always peeked. Oh he did it for these books, Naruto said summoning up the make-out tactics books. You wrote those? Cornelia asked out loud as the books were very graphic with SXL content. What? No I just inherited the book selling rights, Naruto said as he remembered how after he calmed down Jiraiya left him the rights to his books and a large sum of money. Terane watched in amusement as the other girls calmed down she was told by B already about the books so she didn't care much about it. Hey Lin reads a random page and faints with a blush and a small nosebleed. Irma takes the book and reads a random page of her own, oh hell yes, she said wanting to do some of the things in this book with Naruto. Elian picks up a book and immediately blushed and put one in her pocket for later. Congrats on being the #1 smut seller, Will said looking up his books on her phone and saw that he had great ratings. What are you gonna do with all that cash? Irma asked as the money he made from the books had to be a lot. Easy I'm gonna take my girls on vacation this summer, Naruto said making them all cheer in joy. Where we going? Will asked the question on everyone's mind. Naruto summoned a map and showed locations that had big red dots on them. Girls we are going to Rio, Rome, Hawaii, the Bahamas, Vegas, Cancun, and the Caribbean, he said surprising them. Holy CRP, Irma said thinking that would be an awesome vacation. Girls we need to do some major shopping, Cornelia said not wanting to go to another country or state without having the proper wardrobe. I hope you have a way to convince our parents, Will said as she knew some of their parents were stubborn and hard to convince. Always wanted to go to Rio, Terane said as she thought it would be a great place to dance in. Hey Lin hugged Naruto in excitement. Should really perfect that clone technique Elian thought wanting a clone to be her stand-in as Queen of Meridian while she was on vacation. And I got one more surprise tomorrow, Naruto said as he had to make a purchase for something that will be very useful for their vacation. A cave in Meridian. This information shall be useful, Narissa thought out loud as she had gained a vast amount of knowledge from Naruto's memories. Now all I have to do is get Elian's powers she thought as an opportunity to drastically hasten her plan would soon present itself, and after seeing what Kisame did in his and Naruto's world it will be a pleasure to do what I have planned for him. She thought as she saw some of Naruto's memories involving Kisame and finding out he was part of a group of mercenary. She knew he was a killer and a savage but there was a limit to the amount of BLD she was willing to shed. Knights, Narissa said summoning the Knights of Vengeance. We finally gonna start killing again, Kisame asked as he had been bored for a long time of not being active. Narissa soon shot a bolt of lightning at him causing him to wince in pain as he fought against the lightning even though it was his natural opposite in terms of elements. You will only kill when I deem it necessary, she said as she had given Kisame orders to kill before and now she was tightening the leash she had on him. Next day. She shoots she scores, Irma said tossing trash into a fold. I can't believe you let Blunk of all people use your garage, Naruto said with a chuckle as Irma called him over when her dad saw the garage full of garbage. Don't remind me, Irma said shoving some more trash into the fold. Where's this going anyway? She asked not knowing what was on the other side of the fold. Blunk's secret stash. He took a Hiraition kunai from me a while back and when I teleported to it I was in this enclosed cave full of garbage, Naruto said as he opened the fold there so Blunk wouldn't be and to them later. Where is the stink monster? Irma asked, wondering why he wasn't pestering them. Threw him through the portal, Naruto said, as raining garbage was basically Blunk's lifelong dream. Irma laughed a little before she threw the last of the garbage and covered it in water before she sent it in the fold. Naruto closed the fold when all the water went in. So how can I reward you for all your help? Irma asked flirtatiously. Oh, I don't know, I'm sure we can figure something out, Naruto said as they started kissing in the freshly cleaned garage. They were soon interrupted as Irma's mom entered the garage. Irma, Wio, Naruto, sorry, I didn't know you were here, she said, a little embarrassed. It's fine, what's that? Naruto asked, pointing to the piece of paper in her hand. Oh, Irma, we just got a warning for finals and your grades are barely passing, Irma, Anna said as Irma's last report card had mainly C's. Want me to tutor you? Naruto asked Irma as his tutoring sessions with Will were basically just excuses for them to make out. Anna gave him a look that Naruto immediately recognized. We're only gonna be studying, Naruto said, giving her some assurance. Sadly, he thought, along with Irma. I know, Anna said, wanting to mess with him a little. Good kid, but he needs a better poker face, she thought, knowing they would have done it and him giving her his word that they wouldn't, gave her more than enough reason to believe him, as she knew that he kept his word. Oh, and Irma told me you are taking her traveling for the summer, so if Irma passes she gets to go but be back by August. We have a family trip planned, she said, about to leave. Oh, and she can't come back knocked up, I'm too young to be a grandmother, she said with a smirk as she saw the two blush as she left. So I'll see you tonight? Naruto asked, wanting confirmation. Sure, Irma said, and at that moment a fold opened up and Elian soon stepped out of it. Playing hooky again? Naruto asked, already knowing the answer. Yeah, Elian said as she left a clone in her place, as she could only handle so much. Really need to perfect that clone technique, she thought, as she had been trying to minimize or cancel out the stress the clone transferred back to her. She knew Naruto said to ease up on using the clones as they could only handle so much and she shouldn't rely on them so much. Okay, love to stay and chat, but I gotta go make a big purchase, Naruto said, as buying this would really put a hole in his savings. Really glad I decided to start selling VERYYYY's books, he thought, as those books were making him a fortune. So what are you buying? Elian asked as he was vague on the details of what he was buying. Can't tell ya, Naruto said as he started walking away but stopped as he realized his clothes changed to the color pink. Either tell us or walk around in that, Irma said with a victorious smirk as she learned a while back she could manipulate the moisture in clothing to change its color. Elian decided to lend her an assist by giving him the all-too-famous puppy dog eyes to seal the deal. Fine, change my clothes back and I'll take you both with me, Naruto said, not wanting to walk around wearing pink. Don't have a problem with the color, only so much of it, he said, not wanting them to think he thought pink as a girly color. Later. You're buying a boat? Irma asked as they were currently at the docks. You could say that, Naruto said as he saw the guy he was supposed to see. Mr. Namake's pleasure to meet you, your yacht is ready, the man said, bringing them to a very nice yacht. This is Barbara. It features a distinctive layout split over 6 decks and an elegant, sweeping curved exterior, making extensive use of structural glass. The versatile living area comprises of deck spaces that easily convert into entertainment areas with a vast wellness center on the sun deck, complete with jacuzzi, fully equipped gym and a large sunbed relaxation area. The lower deck boasts a well-equipped massage and beauty salon and a generously sized cinema. The extensive accommodation on board comprises a unique split owner's suite with stunning ocean vistas and an impressive double-height study complete with port and starboard folding balconies and double-height glass sliding doors. There is a double guest cabin on the upper deck, 9 guest cabins and a convertible full-beam VIP cabin located on the main deck. Other standout features include a remarkable teak and steel sculpture that envelopes the large guest elevator, an outdoor cinema on the sun deck which also doubles as a helideck capable of handling up to an EC-155, and a huge lazarette ideal for a watersports enthusiast, the man said as if it were rehearsed, and it can be yours for a nice price of 5 million, he said, making Elian and Irma go wide-eyed. Here you go, Naruto said, giving him a check with the amount asked for. When they made it to the boat, Irma saw something that caught her interest. "Oh, jet skis," she said, looking the jet skis over. "With your purchase I can give you 2 of those at a discount," the man said, trying to make more of a profit. "We don't really need it, we can literally walk on water," Naruto said, whispering to Irma, as he didn't see the whole point of having them if they could do something better. "They're fun," Irma said simply as Naruto then paid for them. Later. "This is awesome," Irma said as she and Elyon explored the yacht. Naruto was currently steering the yacht to the beach outside his house, and as he got closer he saw a fold open up. SHT, he thought, as Will would have called him if there was trouble, meaning that the portal belonged to Blunk, or someone else. He sighed in relief when he saw Blunk come through, but he seemed to be panicking, which wasn't a good sign. "Irma, Elyon, get up here," he said loudly, wanting them to hear him. When they made it to the helm they saw Blunk trying to get their attention. "What's the stink monkey want?" Irma asked, still irritated. "She almost got grounded because of him." "How'd he even find us?" Elyon asked, curious to how Blunk knew where they were. "I don't know," Naruto said as he saw the girls come out. "Blunk still open fold, but we might want to be ready for what's coming," he said, getting a weird vibe, and then saw a familiar golden horn in Will's hand. "OSHT, he thought, remembering what happened last time with that horn, and now understood what he was feeling. "Now we're really screwed," he thought, then looked toward Elyon and Irma. "They're under the influence of the horn of Hypnos." "Irma, transform," he said, hoping Irma was close enough to the heart to transform herself. He then saw Elyon and the confused look she had. "It's a horn that makes you into a mindless SLV. If you don't hear it, you're golden," he said, not having time to fill her in as the hypnotized girls approached the yacht. As the girls approached the yacht they were stopped by large tentacles. "Yo, check it, 8 tails, that be me, the rap pin killer. B, so lay off my bro Naruto," B said as he then looked to another tentacle that had Oryub standing on it. "Yo Oryub, you wanna try some rap pin?" he asked, getting a dry look from her. Okay, he said before singing the notes to destroy the horn, which also got crushed by B's tentacle. Later. "How'd you know when to show up?" Naruto asked B as the yacht was on his beach and everyone was talking on the porch. "'Cause I'm awesome," B said until he got elbowed in the gut by Oryub. "We left some stuff here and came to get it," Oryub said as they had finished renovating the top floor of bookstore. "You know you can still live here," Naruto offered as he enjoyed having someone live with him. "We value our sleep," Oryub said, answering for both of them while making all the other girls blush in embarrassment. "And hey, you'll still have this guy," B said as he picked up Hunter, who shook himself as he had sand in his fur. He then bit B's hand and went to Naruto, jumped into his lap and curled up to get himself comfortable. "So Irma, you coming over for tutoring?" Naruto asked the water guardian while confusing the keeper of the heart. "You need tutoring?" Will asked curiously as she thought Irma did okay in school. "Yeah, my grades are literally just above of being lower than average," Irma said, not too prideful to deny that she got mostly 70s and having anything lower than 65 meant she wasn't passing. "Well, Naruto is gonna tutor me later to maybe I can help," Will said, wanting to help her best friend. "Aw, thanks babe," Irma said with a smirk. Later. Everyone left after checking out the yacht and catching up with B and Oryub and helped them pack up some stuff. Naruto and Irma were currently going over some of the things that'll be in the finals. Will had to go home to get some of her notes she thought would help Irma. "Ugh, this is killing me," Irma said as her mind was full of stress from trying to process and view what Naruto was trying to teach her. "Come on, you're getting it," Naruto said, thinking she was doing well. "Can't we use clones?" Irma asked curiously as Naruto told all of them that the clones transferred everything they learned to the original. Naruto was silent for a moment as that was an idea they could do. He just hoped she knew that the stress would transfer back to her. "Okay, so what do you want to do?" he asked as they could do about anything. Irma smirked and started pulling him upstairs. Naruto and Irma came into his bedroom making out with a passion. However, the water guardian then took advantage of the situation by pushing Naruto against the bed, where he landed on his back. As he sat up, he saw the CC Latina stripping off her clothes until she was as naked as the day she was born. I can never get tired of such a appealing sight," Naruto said, getting a smile from his girlfriend. "I appreciate the compliment, babe, but there's a sight I can't get enough of seeing either. Irma said as she got on top of the blonde and grabbed the bulge forming in his pants. Then please, feel free to get an eye full. Naruto said as he strpped off his shirt. Irma smiled as she slipped down his body, kissing him first before stopping at his neck. Irma kissed his neck and started lightly biting and licking it before pulling away, smiling at the hickey she left before she continued down, kissing and liking the whole way until she ended at his pants. There, she stroked the bulge threatening to break free at any moment, making Naruto groan in pleasure. Not wanting to wait any longer, Irma unzipped his pants and reached into his boxers to pull out her prize and began rubbing his pee-pee before placing her mouth on it, much to Naruto's pleasure. Downstairs. Unknown to Naruto and Irma though, Will has shown up earlier than they expected. The redhead opened the door and entered the house without knocking, knowing full well that her boyfriend was expecting her, plus he's grown pretty used to them showing up at his house all the time due to guardian business, so he doesn't keep his door locked from them. Hey, Naruto. I'm ready to study with you and Irma. Will called out as she entered, but didn't get any reply. Naruto. Where are you? She asked hoping to get a reply. She entered the kitchen, but didn't see him. She did find some homework that belonged to Irma on the table, but saw no sign of them. Will then headed upstairs. Oh, that feels amazing, Irma. Naruto's voice was heard. As she got to the top floor and headed for Naruto's bedroom, she heard some very familiar noises coming from the half-cracked open door. When she peeked inside, Will's face turned the same color as her hair. Inside, Irma and Naruto were naked with the Latina rubbing her melons on Naruto's pee-pee while eating the head. The sight was a surprise to the redhead, but decided not to let them know she was there just yet. Inside Naruto's room. Irma. It feels so good when you do this. Naruto loved the sight and feel of Irma rubbing her melons on his pee-pee while eating the rest of it like a lollipop. Anything for you, babe. I want to get this big thing as wet as possible so you can stick it back where it belongs. Irma said while taking licks of Naruto's pages. I felt so empty without your pee-pee inside me, she said as her vna ached to be reunited with his pee-pee. I'm sorry to hear that, Irma. I've just been busy with the other girls lately, no. Naruto said, sorry to keep her waiting after the last time they did it. Oh yeah, I know alright. Taking 5 other girls' V-cards and making them your B, man you are a beast in the sack. It's so hot that you're nailing the other girls, Irma said teasingly while rubbing her melons on his pee-pee faster, making Naruto leaked close to his CLMX. Oh, I can think of a few things. Naruto said with a groan, which made Irma smirk before eating his pee-pee back into her mouth while Naruto placed a hand on the back of her head making her take in more of his pee-pee. Will was blushing from the sight, but while she felt just a little embarrassed, she also felt that she was getting turned on watching her boyfriend F someone else, and as she watched the two, she didn't notice as her right hand slipped down into her pants and panties to finger her pee-pee that was growing more and more wet as she watched the two F the SHT out of each other. Irma was now eating and massaging Naruto's pee-pee, the blonde felt his CLMX slowly approaching. The water guardian must have noticed this too and soon she began deep-throating his pee-pee, much to Naruto's pleasure. DMN Irma, I'm close. If you keep that up, I won't be able to control myself. Naruto warned, to which Irma mentally smiled and ate his pee-pee with more vigor. Don't hold back, Naruto. Give it to her, fill her up with it, make her drown in it. Will whispered, lightly as she continued her fingering. Naruto groaned loudly as he leaked with multiple shots of his baby batter going down Irma's throat while he single-handedly held her head in place. Irma was struggling to breathe as her boyfriend did this, but enjoyed it all nonetheless and was soon relieved when Naruto pulled out to let her breath again. Oh man, I never get tired of that feeling. I have such wonderful girls. Naruto said between breaths as he petted her head gently. Thanks, babe. That means a lot coming from you. Irma said while rubbing her stomach full of juices before smiling. Now, I think it's time you return the favor. I mean, just look what you did to me, she said getting on the bed holding her knees revealing her pee-pee that was dripping wet. Getting what she was getting at, Naruto smirked as he got on top of Irma and grabbed Irma's head and pulled her into a long wet passionate kiss before he started kissing down Irma's body till he reached her hot soaking sec. Naruto started giving it some licks before he plunged his tongue inside her wet hole basically devouring her and when she leaked Naruto drank up all her juices and still continued her orgasm making her ride it out. Will couldn't stand watching any more as she basically just ripped her clothes off and quietly walked in and approached Naruto putting a finger to his mouth wanting him to be quiet as she pushed him aside and got on all fours and leaped face to face with Irma's wet cc and gave it a little lick surprising Naruto, not bad, she thought as she started eating Irma out. Naruto, Irma said as she very sensitive as she leaked just moments ago. Will smirked as Irma didn't know it was her. Naruto deciding he didn't want to be left out plunged his pee-pee into Will's soaking wet pee-pee. God I missed this Will thought as the girls had been getting their turns with the man currently her, and it feels like he's gotten better, she thought happily licking Irma's pee-pee even faster. Naruto started to grunt a little as he felt like he was about to leak soon, man can't believe Will decided to do this is pretty naughty of her, he thought as he kinda hoped this would happen someday but not so soon, guess I should treat her like a naughty girl, he thought as he then spanked Will making her stop licking Irma and loudly. What? Irma thought as she heard a feminine and when she looked up her eyes widened as she that Will was here. Hey Irma, Will said as she then picked up where she left off and started licking Irma again. Irma's mind went blank as she gave into the pleasure and soon leaked. Will's face was soon covered in Irma's juices, still not bad, she thought tasting Irma's juices as she got on top of Irma who was panting heavily. Will what are you doing here? Irma said each word between pants. Well I saw that you were FR man and decided to join in, Will said as their melons pressed against each other, and I gotta say I'm glad I did, she said as she then kissed Irma surprising said girl who soon gave into the kiss and as she felt Naruto's pee-pee enter her peach. Naruto could honestly die happy at that moment as he saw two of the 6 girls he loved making out their melons pressed against each other and their pee-pees only inches apart. Is he her peach? Will thought deciding to give her best friend some more pleasure as she broke from the kiss and immediately started eating on Irma's left breast. DMN I can't take this sitting down Irma thought as she began to finger Will's pee-pee. Getting a little bold are we? Will thought as she gave Irma's NPL a little zap with her lightning. Irma leaked as she felt that zap to her breast as her body was overloaded with pleasure and her breast seemed to become incredibly more sensitive. Like it? Will said whispering into Irma's ear as she grabbed Irma's peach as Naruto thrusted into it, it's a technique I made increasing the sensitivity in a person's nerves making whatever pain or pleasure they feel become even greater, she said still whispering into her ear, and if you want to feel more of what you just felt you're gonna have to earn it like the good little bee that you are, she said with a smirk. She knew Irma was a SLT for Naruto's PP but she wanted Irma to submit to her like she did with Naruto as she wanted to establish dems with not only her but the other girls as well. Will's really KNKY Irma thought not having a problem with it. So say you'll eat my PP whenever I ask drop your panties wherever and whenever I tell you, Will said wanting her to say she'd do it, and here's a little incentive, she thought as she zapped Irma's peach increasing Irma's pleasure as Naruto thrusted into her, but what Will didn't realize was she also zapped Naruto's PP. What the hell, Naruto thought as he felt his pleasure increase. Irma's mind went blank as her pleasure magnified intensely as she instinctively kissed Will. Guess that's a yes Will thought as Naruto and Irma soon orgasmed together, man that PP is amazing, she thought as Irma blacked out and fell to her side she felt Naruto's PP rub against her PP. What did you do? Naruto asked knowing Will had to have something to do with his intense sensitivity. I don't know what you're talking about, Will said as Naruto plunged his PP into her but it felt incredibly better than before. You aren't the only one who can increase someone else's pleasure, Naruto said as he knew what Will did so he returned the favor by using his chakra to increase the pleasure he gave Will. He's F me raw, Will thought as she basically gushed out with each of Naruto's thrusts. Irma began to regain consciousness and saw that Naruto was Will like there was no tomorrow right beside her. Guess I'll return the favor, she thought as she decided to position her fingers outside Will's tight little peach. Hope you're open to new experiences, Will, she thought as she plunged 3 fingers into Will's never-before invaded peach. Will screamed in surprise and pleasure as her peach was just breached and glared at Irma as she saw her fingering her peach. You crafty little bee, she thought, secularly aggressive as she pushed Naruto off of her and forced Irma onto her back. I'm gonna enjoy breaking you, she said as she sent a large bolt zapping Irma's entire body. If you thought you were Naruto's bee before, then you have another thing coming. I'm gonna enjoy watching Naruto break you, making you an even bigger SLT than you already are, she whispered into Irma's ear as her finger grazed Irma's NPL, making said girl leak. Irma thought, she just touched my NPL and I leaked, she thought as she was dripping with anticipation. I'm gonna die getting she thought, not knowing how to feel about that, and then thought, but what a way to go, she thought jokingly and seriously. Go wreck her, Naruto, she'll be leaking like a cheap wear, Will said as she gave Naruto's PP a few strokes. Naruto didn't need to be told twice, let's really send her over the edge, he thought, focusing chakra into his PP which would send Irma's body to nirvana as he positioned himself to enter her. Irma screamed like a wild animal as she basically made a puddle with her liquid juices. She wrapped her legs around Naruto instinctively and grabbed his back as hard as she could, leaving scratch marks on his back. Look at you, Irma, clinging to me like if I stop you'll die, Naruto said with a smirk as he saw the honest-to-God smile on Irma's face. I love how much of a wear you are, he said as she became exceptionally tight. Keep her, Naruto, Will said, pressing her melons against his back as she then started kissing Naruto's neck. Irma leaked from how sensitive her PP was and leaked so hard she passed out in a puddle of her liquid juices. Jez, what does it take to make him leak? Will thought, not knowing whether to feel fear or excitement. She then stands up and presses her hands against the wall and shook her peach at Naruto. Come on, Naruto, I'm curious to how it feels, so finish up in my peach, she said as she couldn't deny Irma sticking her fingers in her peach made her feel corny as hell. Naruto walked over to her. You may try and dominate the other girls, but you'll never dominate me. Will I will always dominate you, he whispered into her before he gave her peach a decent spank. Will shuddered a little in anticipation. Then prove it, Cece, she said, hoping he her into SBMSN till she was nothing but a drooling mess like Irma. Naruto turned Will around so she was facing him and picked her up by her peach and pressed her back against the wall and positioned his PP to her peach. I love you, he said, kissing her as he knew she'd feel a lot of pain when he penetrated her. Will felt Naruto's PP slowly enter her and she had to admit it hurt a lot. She thought repeatedly until Naruto was fully inside her. Okay, just need a few seconds to adjust, she thought, until Naruto pulled back and thrusted right back inside her peach. She thought as the pain hit her hard for a while, but after repeated thrusts she quickly adjusted and started to enjoy the sensation. It almost felt as good as swimming, she thought, loving how Naruto explored every nook and cranny of her peach. Naruto bit her shoulder just as he and Will leaked. He then carried her to his bed and laid in between Irma and Will as they all slept in SXL bliss. Next morning, Wills began to stir, seeing that she, Naruto, and Irma were all as naked as the day were born. She nuzzled into Naruto's chest feeling very comfortable, but she saw that Irma was beginning to stir. Morning, Irma, she said happily. Irma took a minute to register what happened last night. So that wasn't some RTCSXL vivid dream, she asked as she even blushed a little, remembering some of the things she and Will did to each other. She saw Will giggle a little by what she said. This isn't gonna be a one-time thing, right? She asked, wanting this to happen again. Will places her hand on Irma's cheek. Oh definitely, she said as she enjoyed SEC with her boyfriend and best friend and brought her hand to Irma's BRST and gave it a squeeze, surprising Irma. Remember what I said last night, she said as she then began pinching Irma's NPL. Now eat my PP, you little SLT, she said, spreading her legs. Irma approached Will's PP. Yes, MSTRS, she said with a smirk as she started liking Will's PP and soon felt Will's legs wrapped around her head, keeping her in place. Yes, that's it, she thought, enjoyed getting forced into liking Will's PP. Naruto began to wake up, and when he did he saw one of his girlfriends eating out the other and instantly became irked. Will saw him wake up and saw his Erkn and smiled as she looked down at Irma eating her out. Irma, she said, getting said girl to stop liking her. Looks like our man needs a little attention, she said, getting Irma to smirk as they moved on both sides of Naruto and started giving Naruto's PP some licks, scs, and even kissed with Naruto's PP between it. I'm gonna leak, get ready, Naruto said as Will and Irma got on their knees and opened their mouths as he got up and sprayed a huge lot onto both of them, landing in their mouths, on their melons, and on their faces. Will and Irma looked at each other and started making out as they ate Naruto's juices, liking it off the other. Late at night. Man, today was awesome, Naruto thought as he, Irma, and Will sent clones to cover their day as they screwed till the afternoon, and when he laid in his bed ready to go to sleep his eyes suddenly opened as he felt another presence in his room. Hello Naruto, the nymph said with a smile coming out of the shadows. You, Naruto said as he remembered this woman from when she was at the Silver Dragon. We need to talk about some things, the nymph said as she transported them to the living room in a green flash. It's no Hiraishin, Naruto thought as he teleported faster than the technique she used. Okay, so you use magic. Who are you exactly? He asked, not knowing if she was friend or foe. I needed to reveal myself to you because it's time for you to know about me. I am Xian Jing, she said, bowing a little. The one from the story. About the heart? Naruto asked as he remembered in that story she turned into a dragon, and from what Yen Lin told him and what he could remember from Abner that happened a long time ago, meaning either this woman was lying or he just stepped into another complicated situation. Doesn't seem like he believes, Xian Jing thought as she flared her power a little and charged her finger with lightning and shot a bolt at Naruto. Naruto at that moment had gotten memories of the clone he used when he and the girls were trapped in the painting Elias made, and just sensing her power was identical to the heart of Kandrakar, he now knew she was who she claimed to be. Naruto, Xian Jing said, getting his full attention as he could only guess her revealing herself meant something bad was gonna happen. You are going to face many challenges ahead along with great change, and I believe you can overcome it because of your strength and will and your kind and gentle spirit, she said as she watched him for a long time and had zero doubts about him being unable to rise above what's to come. I'll be ready, Naruto said, never backing down from an obstacle. I know you are, Xian Jing said with a smile. I just hope what you face doesn't change you, she thought as she knew everyone had their limits. Naruto's house. I'm sorry, you need my help to do laundry? Naruto asked as he strummed and tuned his guitar. Yeah, Will said as she had been focusing so much on training and school she had neglected to do some chores. Why not use a clone? Naruto said as he didn't use clones for every chore, just ones that required multiple hands. Will didn't say a thing as that didn't come to mind, so she instantly made a clone. Here, I'll lend you a clone to help yours, Naruto said, making a clone that went with Will's to go do laundry. Also, don't make too many in a city of populated people. We don't want people seeing us at 2 or more places at the same time, he said as he didn't want to be seen at multiple locations at the same time or a bunch of them in one location, and both of those scenarios didn't sit well with him. Later with the clones. Thank you Naruto, and will you both have given me an amazing opportunity, Narissa said, walking into the laundromat. Quintessence, she said, sending lightning at the 2 clones who were putting clones into the dryer. Both clones fell to the floor and felt their bodies experience an unfamiliar sensation as they got back up. What just happened? The clones thought as they got up. They saw a wrinkly dried up woman with long white hair wearing a blue robe. You, clone, Will said, remembering the woman from the time they entered Naruto's mind. Is this the woman that's been causing us problems and behind the Knights of Vengeance? Clone Naruto thought as she fit the description he got from the others. Hello Naruto and Will, Narissa said, greeting them with a wicked smirk. Cut the formality, CRP. Why are you here and who are you? Clone Naruto asked, hoping she was one of those idiotic villains that actually gave away small but important information. In time you'll get your answers, but let me ask you something. How does it feel to be alive? Narissa asked, still smirking. What's she talking about? Clone Will asked, not understanding what she was getting at. I don't know, Clone Naruto said, knowing what she said was a cryptic message kinda thing. Better dispel need to let me know she's here, he thought, dispelling only for nothing to happen. If you're wondering why you can't dispel, it's because you are no longer clones but ultramirrors, Narissa said, as that was basically what they were. Even if they weren't astral drops, you are no longer a part of Naruto and you are your own beings with your own choices, she said, wanting them to experience freedom. Clone Will looked excited by the prospect of having complete and total freedom. What's her game? Clone Naruto thought, as nobody did anything without asking for something in return. He would have asked the woman something if she didn't just then disappear in a green light. Okay, starting to see how my enemies feel whenever I use the Hiraishin, he thought, until he realized, but I never fought them. That was the real Naruto, he thought, not knowing how to feel about being only a copy. Let's go. Clone Will said as she started dragging Naruto out the laundromat. Later at a chicken joint. Good thing I have a copy of the original's credit card, Clone Naruto thought as he saw the Clone Will gorge on multiple pieces of chicken. Oh man, this food is amazing. Clone Will said with food in her mouth. She enjoyed the food so much as it tasted amazing to her. Yeah, Clone Naruto said nervously, is this how people feel when I eat ramen? He thought, seeing her stuff her face. Later at the park. Man, this feels amazing, Clone Will said, feeling the sunlight shine on her skin and the breeze brushed past her skin. Yeah, Clone Naruto said as he couldn't deny that he was enjoying being alive. Well, do you really trust that hag? He asked, wanting to know her opinion. I mean, yeah, she literally gave us life, Clone Will said, not seeing why they shouldn't trust her. But what about all the people she's hurt? How do we know she's just not trying to manipulate us? Clone Naruto said, not willing to submit to a person who would have likely made them do very questionable things just so they could keep living. If she gave us the chance to live, maybe she isn't as bad as she seems, Clone Will said as she started to get angry. Look, I understand how you Clone Naruto was saying till he got cut off. No, you don't, and guess what? Just because you're too chicken to be free of the original doesn't mean I have to be, Clone Will said as she started walking away. I'm just looking out for you, Clone Naruto said, not wanting to see her get hurt because like the original he loved Will and the one walking away from him was just like him, so he felt a bond that the original might not even understand. Well, guess what? I don't need you to, so go be a good little lapdog and return to the original. Clone Will said, taking off. Even though what she said was hurtful, he chose to take it as advice. Maybe that's a good idea, he thought, deciding to walk home. Later. BSTRD, Clone Will thought, sitting on a swing as her mind drifted back to Clone Naruto, and every time she did she felt heartache. I shouldn't even care about him, my original is the one who loves him, she thought, trying to deny her feelings. Enjoying your new life? Narissa said, appearing out of nowhere. Something like that, Clone Will said, still thinking about Clone Naruto. Where's Naruto? Narissa asked, not seeing him anywhere. He took off, Clone Will said, trying very hard not to care. He's too pure for his own good, Narissa thought, knowing even a copy of Naruto would resist her even if it meant life. Guess I'll have to speed things up, she thought, smirking on the inside as she looked at the Clone Will. You know, it's too bad you're not the original, she said, feigning sadness. It'll be a shame when the original will absorb you into the heart, she said, not actually knowing if a clone could be absorbed into the heart. No, I won't let that happen. Clone Will said as lightning started to appear around her. Then you'll have to take the original's place, Narissa said, suggestively, wanting her to eliminate Will so she could threaten her to give her the heart and still take her life for more power. Will didn't know what to say or think as she was actually considering murdering herself. If I want to live, then Will has to die, she thought, very desperate to live. Later. At Naruto's house. What do you mean they're gone? Naruto asked over the phone, talking to Will as he was just leaving to meet Matt at the school. The laundry was in the dryer, but they're not here. What happened? I thought if they die, they come back to us, Will asked over the phone as she folded the laundry. I don't know, listen, we'll talk at the dance. I gotta meet Matt and I'll ask Caleb to look around, Naruto said, thinking that sending a clone would be a bad idea. Got it, call me if you find anything out in the meantime, Will said, hanging up. Naruto didn't know what was happening, but when he opened the door to leave he was face to face with his clone. Hey, clone, Naruto said nervously. Naruto would have said something, but he felt something off about the clone in front of him. What happened? He asked, seeing that the clone would have dispelled like normal. That hag who's behind the Knights of Vengeance and who invaded our head made me and Will's clone come to life, clone Naruto said, surprising the original. A living clone. Naruto thought as this was something he never thought he'd experience this. Okay, we need to stop this hag before she does something bad, he said to the clone. And after that what happens to me? Clone Naruto asked sadly, not knowing what was in store for him. Easy you live, Naruto said, surprising the clone of himself. You deserve the chance to live like anyone else, he said, as he believed all life was precious. The clone smiled and felt like crying just a little from happiness. Later at the dance. Okay, where is she? Naruto asked his disguised clone, who now looked like his, or rather their dad. He felt like panicking as Will wasn't picking up her phone and his clone told him that Will wanted to be separate from the original. He didn't know how to feel about that, as that meant a lot of things, and he thought worst case scenario. I don't know where she'd be, clone Naruto said, knowing as much as the original, but he saw lightning blasts outside the window. But if I had to guess, she's outside, he said, as they both headed outside to see everyone on the sidelines watching as both Wills went at each other's throats. The clone dispelled the henge and used his sensory skills. He knew which was which and tackled the clone Will. You need to stop, he yelled, holding clone Will down. And you need to get out of my way. Clone Will said, charging herself with a massive amount of lightning, shocking clone Naruto off. Naruto used universal push and sent her flying and went to check on his double. You okay? He asked, which the clone nodded. He then looked to clone Will. If you think I'm gonna let you lash out and attack the people I care about, you have another thing coming, he said, charging the clone version of his girlfriend. Will, you need to do something. She may be a clone, but deep down she's you and she feels all alone and is afraid, so please do something, clone Naruto asked, practically begging the girl. Will didn't need to be told twice, as she knew her clone was just as real as any of them, and she was wrong to think she was only a mere copy. Earlier, after she asked Naruto to hold her down and they had a heart-to-heart, everyone calmed down. Narissa watched from a distance and saw that the fight wasn't going how she'd planned. Such a disappointment, she said, sending a blast of lightning and folded away. Will. Clone Naruto said, pushing clone Will out of the way as he was blasted with lightning, instead hitting him right on his chest. Naruto. Clone Will said, rushing to his side. Everyone gathered around clone Naruto and saw he was starting to fade. Naruto. Clone Will said in shock, worry, and fear. Are you okay? Clone Naruto asked as he started losing feeling in his body the more and more he faded. Am I okay? Look at you. Clone Will said as she started crying. Why did you do that? I was awful to you. I left you. Why did you save me? She yelled, needing to know. It's because just like them, clone Naruto said, looking at Naruto and Will. I love you and I couldn't stand the thought of losing you, he said as his eyelids began to lower. No, Naruto said, getting everyone's attention. This isn't how this is gonna end, he said angrily. Will, give me the heart, he said as his girlfriend handed him the heart of Kandrakar. Hope this works, he thought as he placed it on the ground and performed the hand signs of the summoning jutsu and placed his hand on the heart, summoning the nymph. You said you needed me, right? Well, if you don't save him you can forget it, he said, wanting to save his double. I would have done it anyway, Xian Jing said as she walked over to Naruto's clone and held the heart over him and saw that there were two guardians of the heart. Okay, so two of them, perfect, she thought as the heart shined brightly. Quintessence, she yelled, sending two pink beams at Naruto and Will's clones. Later. So what now? Clone Will asked as they all sat on the bleachers. There can't be two Wills and Narutos, she said, knowing that was a fact. We send you somewhere where you can live your lives and be yourselves, Naruto said as he approached the bleachers with Xian Jing. With Naruto's Rinnegan and the heart we will be able to send you to a completely different world, Xian Jing said, holding the heart. Catch, Naruto said, throwing a scroll to his double. That has our clothes, jewels, and my notes in sealing and some other stuff, he said as he and Will both went home to get stuff for their doubles. But that can wait till tomorrow. Tonight we're gonna party, he said, wanting them fully rested and prepared for whatever world they went to. Next morning. It was kinda nice to have a brother for a while, Naruto said with a sad smile as the nymph made a portal for the clones. And listen, you and her, he said, referring to Will's double, or else you will lead different lives that was decided from the moment you became real. You two are Naruto Namikaze and will Vandom, so go live your lives and enjoy it. He said, wanting them to know even if they were the same as the originals they could make their own choices and live their own lives. What about the spell that keeps Naruto's HRM hidden? Clone Will asked as she had gotten Will's tolerance for other women sleeping with her boyfriend and found it CC. Xian Jing snapped her fingers and Naruto's clone glowed pink for a moment. Anyone he has NTRCRS with will be a part of his HRM, and if you go to a world where it's okay to have a HRM it won't even matter, she said, not really caring about Naruto having a HRM and didn't see why civilization became such prudes. That's more of a benefit for you than it is for me, Clone Naruto said, whispering into Clone Will's ear. Clone Will blushed. You're an idiot, she said quietly. To be fair, I was born yesterday, Clone Naruto said as he then pushed into the portal. Goodbye, Clone Will said as she and the nymph went through the portal. Earlier in Kandrakar. What was so important you needed to speak to me in private, Oryub? The oracle asked curiously as they were outside the temple. Oryub started explaining the situation that happened yesterday, and the oracle was surprised by the development with the clones and even more by the fact that the nymph was still alive. The oracle dismissed Oryub to keep an eye out for the nymph and to immediately tell him if she were to appear. I do not know what this may signify, he thought, not knowing if this was a bad or good sign. He then got a vision after such a long time, but not a vision he had ever experienced, as he saw symbols. A flying bison. A red and white ball. A red bat symbol. A school with teens with special powers. A pirate flag with a skull wearing a straw hat. An orange ball with 4 stars. A tower with a giant up on it. A satellite that was the size of a tower. A cartoon version of what someone might think the Grim Reaper looked like. A girl with bright red hair wearing a school uniform. A multicolored white lightning bolt. A symbol of a bird and some numbers. A red symbol of what someone would think a fairy looked like. A dojo with the sign Tendo Anything Goes Martial Arts. Fangs covered in BLD. A pale white woman with cracks on her face with red eyes surrounded by pure black creatures. A disturbing one with the dead trying to kill the living. And many more, almost too many for him to count and describe. The oracle didn't know what to make of what he saw and wondered what fate awaited the copies of Will and Naruto, and could feel they would make a difference to wherever they ended up, which made him happy. Irma's house. Naruto and Irma were currently in the kitchen studying for upcoming tests, but as they studied they couldn't concentrate due to the argument between Irma's parents. It's not a dump, it has character, Tom said to his wife as they were planning to go on their family vacation in a cabin down on the beach. It's a dump, Irma and Anna said at the same time, as the cabin was basically a rundown shack. You can use my place, Naruto said, offering them the use of his house. What's your place like? Anna asked, only for Irma to show her a picture on her phone. I'm sold, she said as she left to start packing, and if I hear any disagreement from you we're gonna have a problem, she said, peeking her head into the kitchen, giving her husband a smile that was anything but kind. You gotta teach me that, Irma said, chasing after her mom. OSHT, Naruto and Tom thought in fear as they shudder in fear. 2 days later. Wow! Chris said as he saw Naruto's place, seeing the beach and his yacht. Video games inside, Naruto said as Chris dashed past him. Parental controls are on, he said, knowing that Irma's mom was very protective of what Chris saw and or played. Is the yacht for your little vacation? Anna asked, a bit curious as her husband unloaded the bags. Depends if she passed, Naruto said as they got the results from their classes yesterday, but Naruto was busy getting some extra beds for Irma's family and the girls. I'll have you know I got mostly B's and even got an A, Irma said, smirking proudly. They all smiled as they proud of her accomplishment. So where are you headed? Tom asked, wanting to know where his daughter was heading. Caribbean, Naruto answered quickly as he didn't want the girls to tell the other parents different locations, since Heatherfield was a small town and the likelihood of each of their parents running into each other was way too high. Well, I hope you enjoy your stay at my house, Naruto said as he showed them to their rooms. Later. Will and Irma were currently lying on a lawn chair kissing one another. Will was wearing a pink two-piece pink bikini with white polka dots along the edges of it. Irma was wearing a well-made very revealing navy blue two-piece bikini which showed off a lot of cleavage. "Who could have guessed we'd be doing this?" Irma said, feeling up Will. Will squeezed both of Irma's peach cheeks. "I'm not complaining and Naruto definitely isn't," she said as she heard Irma lewdly "What the hell?" Cornelia said, yelling, wearing a white coral design two-piece bikini as Lin wearing a light blue one-piece with a melon's window. The swimsuit also had wind-like designs, Elian wearing a black one-piece which seemed separate but was connected by black strings, and Terane who was wearing a bright multicolored one-piece which showed a lot of cleavage and revealed a lot of her peach all showed up. "Holy crp," Terane said, gaining a blush as her eyes widened in surprise. Lin said, becoming atomic red as she tried to look away. Elian got a nosebleed and gained a massive blush from the position Will and Irma were in. Irma looked at Will, then the others. "Well, it was gonna happen eventually," she said, being serious and kidding at the same time. "I blame you for being such a perv," Will said as she then spanked Irma. What's going on?" Terane asked as she still had her blush and became slightly aroused by what she saw. "Me, Will, and Naruto screwed together," Irma said as plain as day. "Way to be vulgar about it, Irma," Will said, pinching Irma's peach, making her naughty little SLT, she thought as she forgot Irma was a bit of a MSCST. "Oh, you love it," Irma said, kissing Will with passion. The four girls could only watch with their jaws hanging at what was happening. Later, Terane, Cornelia, Lin, and Elian were blushing up a storm when they heard in vivid detail from Irma about what they did together with Naruto. Terane licked her lips in excitement. "If Naruto asked me to a three-way, I would do it," she thought as the thought excited her. Lin was extremely embarrassed and wondered if she'd be up to the task if she was in a three-way with Naruto and another one of the girls. Cornelia rubbed her thighs together furiously from the thought of doing a three-way. Elian looked completely sold as she smiled and had a light blush. Naruto showed up not a moment sooner carrying a volleyball net and soon stopped once he saw their swimsuits. His BLD seemed to all go down south on his body. "I'm the luckiest BSTRD alive," he thought, having his thoughts run a mile a minute. "Hey Naruto, can you rub some sunscreen on me?" Cornelia asked, using her arms to push out her cleavage, making it look bigger. "Me too, I don't want to get burned," Terane said with a wink. The other girls just glared at the two as they had the biggest amount of cleavage out of all of them. As the three walked away, Terane looked back at them. "You're welcome to join if you want," she thought, using her mental powers to let them hear it. The others blushed and were surprised by Terane's boldness, not knowing how to respond. Later, Cornelia and Terane were currently lying down on a lawn chair with their tops down as Naruto used one hand on both of them. Who knew such strong hands could be so gentle, Cornelia thought as Naruto's hands were just easing away all her stress. Terane was also enjoying being rubbed down by Naruto. "You know you can touch me everywhere, Naruto," she thought, letting him hear her thought as she wanted Naruto to feel up her whole body to just grope her peach and melons. Naruto smiled as the hand on Terane slowly went lower and lower down her back and slipped into the lower half of her one piece. Terane didn't know what to expect as she felt Naruto's hand inside her swimsuit, making her wet with anticipation as she desperately waited for him to make his move. Naruto soon started to add chakra in order to STMLT Terane and Cornelia more. Cornelia thought lightly, her eyes completely closed, not seeing what was happening right beside her. Terane was being fingered furiously by Naruto, making her breathe lustfully. "I need his PP," she thought, staring at the tent in his swimsuit. Naruto saw the hungry look in Terane's eyes and knew what she wanted, so he discarded his swimsuit and noticed Cornelia was still enjoying her rub down, so that gave him an idea. He motioned for Terane to get closer, so she got on her knees so she was face to face with Naruto's PP and immediately began to SCK it. "Anytime you want a THRSM, let me know, I am your where after all," Terane said to him mentally. "I honestly just love my life," Naruto thought as he felt like he was living the dream by just being able to love 6 incredibly. appealing women a semi-peaceful life that still had some action and excitement in it. Let's play with Cornelia a bit, Terane thought, letting Naruto in on her thoughts. She then stealthily untied Cornelia's bottom piece of her two-piece swimsuit. Ready? She asked Naruto mentally. Naruto nodded as he flipped Cornelia so she was now on her back, and as she flipped her bottom piece fell, leaving her naked body bare to the world. Cornelia was surprised by this sudden action but not completely. "What are you gonna do to me?" she asked with a sultry smirk as she raised her upper body. "I think you meant we," Terane said, getting on top of Cornelia and began to fondle her ample peach as she then started kissing her. "I wanna see how much you can take before you become a drooling mess," she mentally said to Cornelia's, whose eyes widened in surprise, giving Terane the perfect opportunity to slip her tongue into Cornelia's mouth, dominating it. Naruto stared at the naked beauties and didn't want to be left out of the fun, so he got on his knees and rapidly began licking their lower lips with a fast pace. The girls both start hard and getting into it. Cornelia couldn't believe this is happening and she refused to lose, so she spanked Tarane's peach very firmly, leaving a small red hand print. Terane into the kiss. "Oh, it's on now," she thought as she lifts up one of Cornelia's massive tips and started eating on it. Cornelia also rose when Terane started eating on her melons. "Oh god, it feels great," she thought, restraining her SCK at you dirty SLT, she thought, feeling a little superior to Terane. "Sorry Cornelia, but when I'm done you'll be on your hands and knees liking my PP as Naruto drills into yours," Terane told her mentally, even showing Cornelia how she pictured it, making the Earth Guardian gush out juices onto Naruto's face. "I submitted to Naruto, not you. You want me to submit to you? You're gonna have to earn it. Now then, come help me put these big melons to better use," she told Cornelia mentally as she released her mouth from Cornelia's melons and gave both of them a nice squeeze and saw the dazed state Cornelia was in. Cornelia in her lustful state saw that Naruto was very irked and hadn't achieved orgasm. She licked her lips hungrily as she then began to rub her thighs together and started panting like a bee in heat. Terane sees Cornelia's current state and smiles. "You're nothing more than a desperate SLT, aren't you?" she thought, letting Cornelia hear her thoughts as she began to finger herself. "Now get on your knees and start eating him off. I want his juices all over your face," she thought, becoming wetter from the thought. Cornelia did as she was told and got on her knees, taking every inch of Naruto into her mouth. Naruto felt relieved as his PP hadn't gotten much attention and desperately needed release. Terane soon walked over and pushed Cornelia to the side as she took her place in eating Naruto's PP. "Get up you SLT and help me pleasure our man," she thought to Cornelia as she ate Naruto off. Cornelia wasted no time and did as Terane said, liking and sucking the ball to his PP. "Good girls," Naruto said unknowingly in a DMNT voice. The girls leaked a little when they had that and increased their efforts, making his PP harder, and when they noticed this they decided to push him over the edge with a double melons job, making his PP CLMX from the overwhelming softness of their massive tips covering their faces and tips in his juices. Terane and Cornelia wasted no time liking the juice off each other and kiss, sharing the juices they collected with the other, making Naruto once again irked. "Get on your hands and knees now," Naruto commanded as Terane and Cornelia soon did as they were told. He got behind Terane, positioning his PP with her PP. "I'm going to F you both till you pass out and keep going," he said, making them shudder happily. "That's it, Naruto, put that PP where it belongs," Terane thought as Naruto entered her rather forcefully, making her have a mini CLMX. Cornelia felt a little left out until Naruto started fingering her furiously and used his thumb to STMLT her CLT, making her quiver as she felt like she would be sent over the edge. Terane loudly as both she and Naruto leaked together. "Cornelia, lie down on your back," Naruto ordered as she immediately did as she was told. "Terane, give Cornelia a taste of our juices," he said, spanking her peach as she soon positioned her juice-filled PP above Cornelia's mouth and lowered herself onto Cornelia's face. Cornelia wasted no time eating out Terane's juice-filled PP. "I love it when my girls get along," Naruto said as he began F Cornelia as she ate Terane out. "F me Naruto, use my body, F it however you want," Terane thought to Naruto, "and once you've filled all my holes, F this big Meloni B until she's nothing more than a receptacle for your juice," she thought, wanting Naruto to truly break her with pleasure. Naruto could barely hold on any longer as he heavily leaked inside Cornelia, a lot pouring out. Terene immediately started eating it, not wanting it to hit the ground and go to waste. Soon Terene and Cornelia regained their bearings, and when they did they saw Naruto was still hard and immediately went to work to satisfy their stamina-crazy lover. Next morning. "That smells amazing," Anna said, coming downstairs smelling the delightful smell of food. "Thanks," Naruto said as he placed trays of eggs, sausages, bacon, and pancakes. "I helped to, you know," Irma said, wearing shorts and a bikini top under an apron which was covered in grease stains and pancake batter. "You did good for your first time cooking," Naruto said with a smirk. "She'll kill us all if I left her to cook," he thought, not wanting to tell her she needed to pay more attention to what she was making and what ingredients she used. "What smells so good?" Tom asked as he came downstairs after he woke up his son, who was tired from playing video games all night long. "The lovely couple made breakfast," Anna said as she dug into her food and just started gorging on it since it tasted amazing. Chris looked at the food blankly, then at Naruto. "Is it edible?" he asked, receiving a smack to the back of his head courtesy of his mother, who had her face stuffed as she glared. "Here you go, little man," Naruto said, handing Chris a plate that had a stack of chocolate chip pancakes with some bacon and eggs. "Your sister told me how much you like chocolate," he said, making Irma punch him in the arm with an embarrassed blush. "Looks great," Tom said, having a plate full of food. Later at the beach. Everyone was at the beach doing individual activities. Naruto was practicing surfing, Chris was doing some diving, and the girls were playing volleyball, each side having 3 players. In the distance. "Do each of you know what to do?" Narissa said, looking at Kisame and Sandpit. "Kisame, you are to capture the boy, and Sandpit, monitor the girls and reveal yourself only when it's absolutely necessary," she said as they all then parted ways. Later. "I got it," Cornelia said as Lin sent the ball out of bounds, so she went to get the ball, but when she reached the ball she felt a strange sensation in her feet, sensing something in the sand. What was that? She thought, then decided to ignore it and return to the game. With Chris. Chris was having a great time seeing all different types of fish, and for some reason the water seemed very clear and clean of any pollution. Naruto had felt like smiling proudly as he surfed through the water he cleaned. Chris continued to swim, unaware of the approaching danger that was Kisame. Hoshigaki as he slowly swam to Chris, savoring the moment like a predator to his prey. Kisame smirked, showing his rows and rows of teeth as Chris was still unaware of his presence. "Might as well have a little fun," he thought as he moved to a position where his shadow was cast over Chris, making him turn around to see Kisame in shock and fear. "That's it right there," he thought, liking the look of fear in his eyes and his desperate attempt to swim to the surface, but Chris never stood a chance as Kisame instantly moved in front of him, blocking his way. With Naruto. "Man, this feels amazing," Naruto thought, laying on his surfboard enjoying all the clean air and water he was able to make with a few seals and sage mode to keep everything around his house pollution free. He was brought out of his thoughts as he looked around and saw BLD begin to rise in a certain part of the water. He wasted no time diving down into the bloody water and had a look of horror as he saw Chris motionless drifting in the water as BLD poured out a wound on his lower right side. He had small bubbles of air escape his mouth, showing he was running out of air. Naruto immediately grabbed him as carefully as he could and started to rise to the surface so he could water walk to land quickly. When he made it to land, they placed Chris down and listened for a heartbeat, but there was none. "Girls," he yelled as he immediately started performing chest compressions. The girls rushed over to Naruto and were shocked to see Chris lying lifelessly on the sand, but none more so than Irma, who seemed to be experiencing shock seeing her little brother so hurt. "What happened?" she yelled in a combination of shock and fear. "He was attacked," Naruto said, still performing chest compressions, and then mouth to mouth. "I can't use the Naraka path without him being alive," he thought, needing Chris to have a heartbeat for it to work, otherwise if he did it now Chris would just be a restored corpse, and Naruto wasn't sure if he would bring Chris back, seeing as it went against the natural order of things. But when it was already done, when someone else did it, he didn't question it and gave them his respect for giving their life for someone else, so even he wasn't sure what he'd do. Chris' eyes suddenly opened as he threw up the water that had been trapped in his lungs. Irma sighed in relief but stopped as she saw his wound begin to bleed, but she and the others were surprised when a giant head with purple Rinnegan eyes appeared, and before they could even ask what that was, Naruto picked up Chris and threw him into its mouth as it started chewing on Chris. No! Irma yelled, rushing to it only to be restrained by Naruto. Irma, you need to stop and hold on, Naruto said as he didn't have the time to explain what the Naraka path could do, and not a second later it spat out a fully restored Chris. He'll be fine now, he said as he let go of Irma and the head faded away. Later. Chris was currently laying in bed still unconscious from what had transpired earlier. Everyone decided it was best to say Chris accidentally inhaled some water, causing him get tired from the sudden lack of air which the parents surprisingly bought. Naruto was leaning against a wall in the room Chris was using, looking at Irma, who was watching every breath Chris took in. The thought of losing her brother must have been truly traumatic, he thought as he was in a similar situation when Gaara died but came back thanks to Granny Chiho. What did this? Irma asked, sounding both sad and angry as she remembered the bite mark Chris suffered, the image still clear in her mind. The bite was too deep to be any small type of predator, and the size of the mark was too small, Naruto thought as he assumed from when Chris had his bite mark it was something smaller than an average-sized shark but somehow stronger, and when his mind drifted to sharks he knew of only one person who fit that description, Kisame, he thought out loud. Irma heard Naruto and quickly got angry as she remembered the shark man, and her blood boiled as she promised she would get her PND of flesh for what he did to her brother. Naruto saw the burning look of revenge fueled by pain and sadness, so he went behind Irma and gave her a hug, both of them not saying a word as she feels her body slowly begin to feel heavy, and all the stress and anger she felt finally hit her, making her mind slowly drift away as she fell unconscious. Naruto picked Irma up and placed her on the other side of Chris, knowing even though she was asleep she'd want to be close to Chris. He soon left the room and went downstairs and proceeded to his hot tub, hoping it would ease all the tension he felt after today. Mind if I join you? Tom said in front of Naruto. Not at all, Naruto said, not knowing whether he should be glad for the distraction or worried that this would be a tense moment. Both men sat in the warm water in awkward silence, not knowing what to say to the other. I'm sorry for being difficult with you at first, Naruto, Tom said, still feeling the awkwardness. It's alright, Naruto said, considering we first met with me behind bars it's not that surprising, he thought, as anyone with any reason would be cautious with someone like that. So how serious is your relationship with Irma? Tom asked as he knew he was making the situation even more awkward, but as a father he needed to ease his mind about this. I love her, Naruto said with completely serious, without a moment's hesitation. Tom saw the look in Naruto's eyes, and with years of police work he could tell when someone was being dishonest, and the look in Naruto's eyes showed no kind of deceit. As long as you don't hurt my little girl we'll get along just fine, Tom said, holding out his hand. Promise, Naruto said, fully intent on keeping his word. Next day in Kandrakar. Can you tell us anything about this crusty old hag? Irma said angrily. No offense, mage, she said quickly, hoping she didn't insult her. None taken, the mage said, placing her hands on her sides. Just wait till you're my age, she thought sourly. Here's a picture, Naruto said, handing the oracle a simple detailed sketch as all the girls basically drew cartoon figures of the hag with mustaches and other dumb details. The council examined the picture and none could recognize her image. She looks like a knockoff of the Wicked Witch that got lost on her way to Oz, Hey Lin said, getting some laughs from the girls. The mage then had a small scowl and tick mark appear on her face. Luba was strangely quiet during this meeting as she glared at Naruto. Arrogant beast, she thought, as most of the council had quickly adjusted to Naruto and she definitely didn't like how close B and Oryub seemed to be. Yo, what's your deal? B asked as he saw the angry look she was giving Naruto and himself. You beasts don't belong here, Luba said, getting different looks from everyone. Oryub felt momentarily angry as she got up as she was about to stick up for B and Naruto, but all that courage left her as she backed down as she felt much respect for her MSTR and felt her power exceeded her own. Oryub's report has more than proven that Naruto and B are allies, so you will treat them with some respect, the oracle said angrily. Luba began to walk away, but before she got too far away she glanced back at Naruto and B and gave them a dark look. this isn't over, you vile beasts, she thought, walking away. Oryub, I feel that your assignment is all but complete. You have done well. You may return to Kandrakar and resume your duties, the oracle said as he then noticed an embarrassed look on the young girl's face. Oryub felt a little embarrassed at that moment as she didn't want to return to the council. She wanted to stay on Earth, with B and the others, as they made her life happier. The oracle seemed to understand the look on the girl's face and what she was thinking. If you want to stay on Earth, Oryub, all you need to do is ask, he said to one of the youngest members of the council. I would like to stay on Earth, Oryub said, getting smiles from everyone. So you like me, huh? B asked, acting coyly. Oryub punched him in the shoulder, sending him crashing to the ground as everyone laughed at the scene, including B. You're both hopeless, Naruto said in between laughs. Later. We know, Naruto said as Caleb came rushing into his house telling them about how the witch was planning to attack them. He had known the witch was here somewhere as she seemed to work from the shadows. The only information that seemed useful was that Sandpit was also here. Great, so now we have a hag, some kitty litter, and a walking sushi platter. Am I forgetting anything? Irma said, sounding both sarcastic and serious. No, but I can't help but be impressed by her resourcefulness. She picked two of the knights that can cause us the most harm and have home field advantage, but can also easily hide if someone were to get close, Naruto said as he could recognize a skilled tactician anywhere after dealing opponents who thought 2 steps ahead. So we're screwed, Elyon said simply as Naruto basically pointed out that they could attack them before they knew it and had the environment at their disposal. No, Naruto said plainly, I got a plan, but I need everyone to hold out their DM hands, he asked as everyone did as instructed. You to Blunk, he said as said Pauling was currently carrying a garbage bag but smiled as he ran over and brought up his hand. Naruto started grabbing their hand one at a time and focused chakra on their wrists, and when he was done everyone looked at their wrists. They saw nothing till Naruto started channeling chakra and some symbols appeared where he touched them. I marked you all with my flying Raijin. If you ever need me, just focus your magic or chakra on it and I'll know you need me, he said, getting nods and a sad look from Blunk as he knew Blunk didn't possess chakra or magic, which is why he made Blunk's seal unique. Blunk, I made it so your seal reacts to the Tonga tooth. You have just use it over the seal and it should summon me, he said, seeing the Pauling give his usual gross smile. Later. Hei Lin was currently sitting on the edge of a small dock Naruto made for the yacht, enjoying the sun and the ocean air, feeling a small moment of peace, but it was interrupted as Irma came down the dock. Hey Hei Lin, Irma said with a smile. Hey, Hei Lin said, not really bothered her friend was here. You excited for the vacation? Irma asked curiously. Sure am, Hei Lin said as this would be her first time traveling. You hoping to get some quality time with Naruto? Irma said, smirking at Hei Lin. Hei Lin started blushing as she was still uncomfortable talking about her alone time with Naruto, but then realized something. Irma seemed to be acting less perverted as she was always more crude when she talked about it. Well, hopefully you can spice things up so Naruto doesn't get bored, Irma said with a smirk. Bored? Hei Lin asked, feeling a little self-conscious. Yeah, I mean you have to make up for being the most bland with your personality and body, Irma said as she walked away with an evil smirk. Yeah, Hei Lin said before she wrapped her hands around knees, but then remembered the locket Naruto gave her and the message and symbols inside with were strength, loyal, brave, creative and appealing around the message that said, this is how I and our friends see you, never doubt who you are. And with that Hei Lin felt her body swell with happiness, killing whatever negative emotions she felt. After that she started thinking rationally. She knew that couldn't have been Irma, so she focused her chakra through it and not a second later Naruto was there. You okay? Naruto asked as he knew Hei Lin wouldn't summon him for nothing. Irma was just here, Hei Lin said, knowing Irma had to be with the others. Naruto looked at her curiously as he knew she wouldn't lie, but he also knew Irma was with her brother by the pool as everyone was setting up for the barbecue. Glamour, he thought, as the witch must be using the divide and conquer tactic, trying to separate the girls, wanting to cause disharmony. We'll tell the others later, he said as he and Hei Lin went toward his house. Later. I'm rethinking this whole hearing technology thing, Naruto said as when he was linked up to the girls mentally he could hear all the electronics were brought to life, the first 5 minutes it was cool, now he wants to tear almost every piece of sentient technology to shreds. What's the deal? He asked his alarm system, which he questioned as to why he had it to begin with. Up and atom maggots, we have enemies that have breached our perimeter and are inbound, the drill sergeant-like security system said loudly, waking up all the girls. Even though that's nice to know, Will, if you don't shut up every electronic in this house I'm gonna purge all you pieces of scrap, Naruto yelled to all the tech in his house, as it was becoming mentally stressful to do anything when every room had some form of device or electrical appliance. They hear? Irma asked, wanting to be absolutely sure. Yep, girls, do your thing, Naruto said as they all quickly transformed. They went outside and went away from the house, not wanting to draw any unnecessary attention from Irma's family, and after a few moments the hag along with Kisame and Sandpit appeared. How's the little brat doing? Kisame asked curiously, wanted to know if I'll have the chance to eat fresh meat again, he said, licking the upper part of his lips. Narissa looked at him briefly, curious to what he meant, but didn't get the chance as Irma flew directly at Kisame. I'm gonna rip you to pieces, Irma said as she cocked back her fist and punched his mouth, making him lose 2 teeth. Be Oryub, Naruto yelled out as he knew the hag would return, so he had B and Oryub on standby just in case. Help Irma, he said, knowing Irma would need help especially in the angry state she was in. You girls take Sandpit, the hag's mine, he said as he saw she teletransported a good distance away. Minutes later. This is so a trap, Naruto thought as they were in a clearing in the woods and he followed the hag's magic here. Not a moment later a fold opened up revealing Raythor, Miranda, and Frost. Naruto then began laughing as he saw them. Oh man, for a second I thought I needed to be worried, but it turns out I worried for nothing. I mean, who would be afraid of you clowns, he said as he then dodged Frost's axe. I'm gonna tear you apart, Miranda said as her metal claws started to crackle with lightning. Didn't work out for your scaly boyfriend when I literally beat the living hell out of him, Naruto said as he remembered the severe beating he gave Cedric months ago. Miranda just blindly charged at him, but before she could get close to strike him he jumped back and hid in the trees. You know, it's kind of funny, Miranda, Naruto said, his voice being carried through the clearing. What? You insolent brat! Miranda yelled angrily. You prey on others weaker than you so you yourself don't feel weak. You cling on to that belief knowing deep in your soul you're truly pathetic, Naruto said, laughing in the end. Miranda looked up at the trees, angrily trying to pinpoint his voice. He's got you pegged, Frost said, insulting his fellow knight. Oh, is that you, Frost? I thought I recognized the sound of stupidity. Man, you are such a meathead. I'm surprised you caught anybody. As a hunter must have been Crimson who did all the work. I mean, with how dense you are I find it laughable you caught anyone, Naruto said, still laughing. Ah, where are you? Frost yelled out, looking as desperately as Miranda. Calm yourselves, fools, he's playing you, Raythor said, trying to pinpoint Naruto as best he could. Ah, Raythor, you talk and act like you have honor, but you are no better than a thug with false principles as you harm the innocent and serve people who would sooner tarnish your so-called honor as it were nothing but trash, Naruto said, but you could tell he was smirking as he said this. You know nothing, coward, now come out and face me like a warrior, Raythor said as his honor demanded that he strike Naruto down. If you insist, Naruto yelled as suddenly all 3 of the knights were enveloped in smoke. The knights tried to move out of the smoke but saw a blue light approach each of them, and before they knew it 3 Narutos having a Rasengan in their hands rammed it into their stomachs, making them collide with each other, knocking them out. I'm impressed, Narissa said, teletransporting across from Naruto so the knights were between them. Hopefully means that's your way of surrendering, Naruto said sarcastically. Ha, not even close, but I must say you intrigue me, Narissa said truthfully, as after watching important moments of Naruto's life, both good and bad, she couldn't help but be impressed by his spirit and strength. In what way? Naruto asked, wondering if he should be creeped out or not. I'm curious though, Narissa said, ignoring his question as she created a fold underneath the unconscious knights, making them fall in. While I was in your mind I saw you time and time again protect a place that would sooner see you dead and celebrate that fact, she asked as she watched a good portion of Naruto's life in his head as time moved slower in someone's mind when they slept. I mean, I would have killed all who did even a fraction of what they did to you to me, she said in all honesty. Good thing I'm not you, Naruto said with a glare as he clenched his fist as his mind drifted back to his old life and emotions like pain and sadness came rushing into his mind. Join me Naruto, Narissa said as she honestly thought she could persuade him after all he's endured, and with your power and mine we could bring unity not only to this world but to all worlds we can achieve peace, she said as she saw a memory of Naruto wanting to achieve peace. Naruto looked surprised as he stared at the hag before him. This isn't the answer, he thought, as the way she wanted to achieve peace was through conflict and bloodshed to whoever stood in her way, as he could tell from the look in her eyes that she wanted absolute power and control to achieve peace. It almost reminded him of Nagato for when he mentioned his tailed beast weapon. No, never, I won't ally myself with people like you and especially people like Kisame who has no problem killing anyone, especially children, he said as there were a lot of limits to who he would align himself with. Narissa now wanted answers as this was the third this was mentioned. Who did Kisame hurt? She asked as she knew he ripped people to shreds but she believed he had some sense and morals. He bit into Irma's brother and left him for dead, Naruto said as that still made him angry. Narissa was shocked as Kisame told her Naruto had gotten in the way of him from getting the boy. She then gained a look of anger as she then teletransported. A villain with standards, who knew? Naruto thought as he headed to the direction of the beach. Earlier with Irma. You're dead, Irma said as she formed a spiked chain like WHP out of water as she learned to manipulate her water into weapons. I like that look in your eye, girl, show me you can back it up, Kisame said, diving into the ocean having only his head and fin above the water. Never fight an enemy on their terms, especially somewhere they have the advantage, Naruto's voice said in Irma's mind as she remembered all those lessons he taught her and the others on combat. Sorry babe, I'm fighting him one way or another, she thought, running above the water. Kisame quickly dived down, disappearing from sight. Irma closed her eyes trying to focus on where Kisame may appear while also jumping to different spots so he couldn't grab her. Irma, get down. B yelled, swing his sword down, striking Kisame who was about to surface and strike Irma. BSTRD, how did you know I was there? Kisame asked, resurfacing. Samahata knows your chakra better than anyone, so it's able to find you easy, B said, extending Samahata, who was licking its lips as it got some of Kisame's chakra. DMN, even with it being night and being unable to look in the water, I'm still at a disadvantage, Kisame thought as he then smirked. I don't like that look on his face. Be ready Irma, B said as he knew how deadly Kisame was in this form and knew if he made one mistake it could cost him and Irma their lives. Kisame dived down, making B and Irma tense up as they began moving to make it more difficult for him to grab them. Come on, where is he? B thought as Samahata seemed to be looking in multiple directions, almost like a dog trying to pick up the scent. Why is Samahata having a difficult time? It detected Kisame already, and at that moment B realized what Kisame was doing. To do, Irma, move, he said, not realizing he was too late as that moment Kisame and 5 water copies of himself surfaced. The real Kisame and 2 water copies surrounded Irma in a triangle formation, same with B and the remaining copies. CRP, Irma thought as she knew the copies weren't like Naruto's clones as they were literal water copies of Kisame. Maybe I can, she thought, concentrating on one clone, making it stop. I'm impressed, brat, didn't think you could stop the cat. Kisame said as he noticed when they fought last she couldn't stop or control his water, but seeing her now stop his water clone impressed him as he had to guess Irma either increased her power or level of control where it was close to his own. The cat, Irma said in surprise as she was sure she and the others saw it get fried by lightning. Yeah, you don't know about that. Well, let me educate you. Inside my body is the K-them, increasing my already high control and manipulation of water, Kisame said, placing a hand on his chest. Good to know, Irma said as she then focused her control onto Kisame, stunning him. She was able to stun me. How? Kisame thought as he struggled to move. SHT, the K-them is still made of water. Being able to manipulate it inside my body goes beyond my expectations of this one, he thought, gaining a sadistic grin. Irma glared at Kisame, getting angry from each breath he took, and saw it as an insult as the creature before her tried to kill her brother. She formed a blade of water with her hand as she slowly approached Kisame, but before she could, the water clones came rushing toward her, transforming into a large water dragon and shark. It seems I'm still able to manipulate the water of the clones, Kisame said, knowing Irma could hear him. CRP, Irma thought as the water dragon and shark guarded Kisame as she kept her hold on Kisame. I can't fight like this, she thought, as she couldn't keep Kisame in place and fight the two constructs of water. B isn't faring very well either, she thought. Seeing him cut through all the clones only to see them manifest themselves again. I got one option left. If it works I can beat this guy, she thought as she ceased her focus on Kisame. What's she planning? Kisame thought as he saw her grab her wrist of her other hand with her palm opened. Work, come on, Irma thought, heavily concentrating as a moderate-sized Rasengan appeared. Yes, she thought victoriously. She's able to use the Rasengan, Kisame thought in surprise as he knew Naruto could do it due to who his MSTR was, but he didn't think he'd teach it to anyone else. Irma wasted no time as she rushed the clones Kisame was behind. She's crazy if she thinks she can get past these water clones, Kisame thought as he sent them charging at Irma. When the clones got close enough, Irma plunged her Rasengan into the water dragon, which soon started to spin around Irma's Rasengan. Nice, Irma thought as the water from the water dragon became a violent spinning vortex around her Rasengan and right arm. Time to end these things, she thought as she jumped off the ocean into the air. Use lightning, use lightning, use lightning, she thought, directing it to B as she had an idea. All the copies made of water were similar in nature to the K-them, and its weakness was lightning. B feels a sudden instinct to discharge his lightning, so he follows that feeling, placing both his hands on the ocean, sending a massive amount of power through it, shocking the four remaining water clones. So he was face to face with Kisame. Here we go again, Sharkman versus Octopusman. You gonna run away like a wuss or fight like a man before I stuff you in a can, he said, smirking as it had been a while since he rapped. Enough with your dumb rhymes, Kisame yelled as he was about to charge B, but stop as he was paralyzed. DMN, he thought, turning his head to see Irma behind him. I forgot about the girl, he thought as they both started charging him. Lariat, B said, using his signature technique, sending Kisame on a direct collision with Irma. Whirlpool Rasengan, Irma yelled, sending Kisame upwards. Now Oryub, B yelled to his friend. About time, Oryub said as she has been waiting patiently on the beach as she couldn't walk on water, but B told her to focus her magic into a single attack as he would tell her when to fire, so when it was given she fired a massive blast at Kisame, and when the blast's energy faded Kisame's body fell down and floated. B and Irma started to walk away, not really caring about the shark man's condition, but stopped as they heard his maniacal laughter and looked back and couldn't believe what they saw. Kisame was standing, appearing to be fine besides a large bruise on his stomach. That little brat is next after I'm done with all of you, he said with a devilish smirk. That's it, Irma thought as she extended her flat palm and created a water sword and charged at Kisame. Kisame smirked as she charged right at him but froze as BLD started leaking from his mouth. DMN, the combination of that Rasengan and that girl's blast hitting me damaged my stomach, he thought, as one could increase their durability but never their internal organs, which could only take so much. In his thoughts he didn't realize how close Irma had gotten, and when she was inches away she shoved her water sword right into Kisame's bruised stomach. Her whole hand was inside Kisame. Irma's anger began to die down as she soon realized what she just did. She felt the inside of Kisame's body, his stomach, and another organ on his side, possibly his kidney, which was also pierced by her water sword. Kisame then started to cough up BLD, landing on her face and body. She felt the urge to vomit as she quickly pulled out her hand as BLD started gushing out. Kisame, even though suffering excruciating pain, smiled. This your first time trying to take a life, girl? Well, let me tell you, this isn't half bad, he said, sounding as if he was praising her. Aim for a more vital spot next time. I mean, hitting two organs not bad, he said, coughing more BLD. Irma started shaking, not believing what was happening, as she gave Kisame a life-threatening wound, and here he was giving her better tips for killing, as if they were talking about the weather. She looked at her hands and saw her reflection in the water, seeing herself covered in BLD, and that just terrified her as she felt like screaming, but her voice was caught in her throat as she couldn't even form words to comprehend what was happening. Kisame would have said more, but he was suddenly taken away by a fold. At that moment Naruto arrived at the beach to see that the girls had taken care of Sandpit, who disappeared into a fold, and saw Bee and Irma on top of the ocean a good distance away, and Naruto couldn't help but feel a strong sense of unease, and he quickly ran over there, and when he got there he saw Irma on her knees covered in blood with tears pouring down her face as she silently sobbed and cried. He got on his knees and held her, feeling her pain thanks to his empathetic powers, and felt worse not knowing what to say in order to comfort her. "I almost killed someone," Irma said, choking on her sobs as she was well aware he could still die. "Am I a monster?" she asked, looking him dead in the eyes. God, if only she knew what a real monster was, Naruto thought, as he had similar issue, as he had almost repeatedly killed multiple amounts of people, some severely and some in minor ways. He wiped some of the tears in her face away. "Never," he said, holding her even tighter. Later, Irma was sitting in her room in Naruto's house, laying on her side, bags under her eyes as she stared lifelessly at nothing. Naruto entered the room and saw the state Irma was in, and it hurt to see her so quiet and seemingly lifeless compared to her normal happy and lively personality. He laid down right behind her and wrapped his hands around her waist. "He's probably still alive," he said, having a strong feeling Kisame survived. "And you're not at fault for trying to kill him. He threatened your brother," he said as he got the details from B. "Doesn't change that he might be dead and that I'm the one who did that to him," Irma said, looking her clean hand, somehow still feeling the blood and the inside of Kisame's body. "We all do things in life we regret," Naruto said, having a few himself, "but if we learn from them and try and be better than we were, then at least something good came of it," he said as he always strived to be better from each dark moment and disaster that happened. Irma turned around so she was facing Naruto and gently placed her head on his chest, feeling her fears, doubts, and pain be put at ease as she listened to the rhythm of his heartbeat, giving her a sense of peace as her mind slowly drifted away into unconsciousness. Earlier with the Knights of Vengeance. "Look at you, all wounded and pathetic," Frost said, looking down at a heavily bleeding Kisame. The other knights looked at Frost as if he was a madman, as they all had seen Kisame fight, and it was not a pleasant sight. Even Raythor, with all his years of combat, had never seen such gore and bloodshed until Kisame. Kisame glared at Frost as he thought he could actually beat the Shark Man in his current state. "Come here and say that to my face," he said, coughing up blood. Frost smirked as he bent down on his knees and looked Kisame dead in the eyes. "Your path dash," he was saying until he stopped as a stream of water shot out of Kisame's stomach and enveloped Frost's face while still being attached to Kisame's stomach like a watery tether. "You know, Frost, I never liked you, all your constant babbling and talk about big game. I'm just sick of it," Kisame said in a rare moment of anger. "Now I'm in pretty bad shape and could die at any moment," he said as he gained a grin, seeing the feared look on Frost's face, seeing it turn even redder than normal as the blood vessels in his brain were probably bursting from lack of oxygen. "So goodbye, Frost," he said, using the Katham's powers, and drained all the fluid from Frost, successfully killing him. Everyone stared at Frost's lifeless body, unaware of what to say or do. They didn't much care for him, but they were all worried about who Kisame may kill next. Kisame felt amazing as his organs and flesh were being restored, but during his euphoric moment of no longer feeling pain he was blindsided by a continuous stream of lightning. "I thought I had made it clear when I give an order I expect absolute obedience, not lies and failure," Narissa said as when Kisame returned earlier from their first trip to the beach he told her Naruto had gotten in the way, which was understandable given who he was. But to find out he maimed a child, Narissa would not let that stand. "If you ever disobey me again you will perish," she said, teletransporting away. Few days later, Earth. Everyone was walking down Naruto's dock as they boarded the yacht. Irma was currently on the ship looking out at the vast sea, the sun making the sea shine in its light. Her mind was very far away, not knowing how to deal with what happened a few days ago. She looked down at her hands like she had been for days, still feeling Kisame's blood on them, serving as a reminder that she may have killed him. Hey, Lin said, bringing Irma back to earth. "Hey," Irma said casually, not even facing Hey Lin. "Why are you so sad?" Hey Lin asked, her powers picking up on her pain. "And don't think about changing the subject," she said, picking up on Irma, just about ready to change the subject. Irma sighed and informed her on what happened as Naruto and B kept quiet about what happened, as she didn't want the others to know or see her in such a state. Hey Lin gained a look of surprise and quickly enveloped Irma in a hug. She is a hugger, Irma thought jokingly as Hei Lin's hug did make her feel better. He's not worth it, Hei Lin said, surprising Irma as she could see the seriousness in her eyes. Remember when he tried to kill you and me and I told him if he didn't let us go I'd kill him, she said, making the water guardian suddenly remember that moment as it was the first time they fought the shark man. I felt terrible, but then I remembered how he felt and what Naruto told me about him. He enjoys a fight like an animal on a hunt, seeing us as prey, and even when I had his life in my hands he enjoyed it. He wanted bloodshed. He lives and thrives on it, Irma, so trust me when I say this, you shouldn't feel bad, and if you ever do feel bad find me and tell me about it, she said as they both experienced the same kind of trauma of having someone's life in their hands. Irma shed some tears as she hugged her fellow guardian, who smiled as she held her comfortingly. Yo jackass, Naruto said, to be surprising everyone as it was a surprise as they got along so well together. If you mess up my house I will bash your thick skull through the wall, he said, as when B lived with him he sometimes messed up his house saying it was in the name of culture or anchor rap or some other bullshit. Don't worry, I'll make sure he behaves, Oryub said, experiencing some of the things Naruto did, and I'm sure Hunter will be happy to help, she said with said dog in her arms growling at B. B backed away in fear of the dog. Thanks sis, Naruto said, making her blush as they set sail. Okay, taking bets. Who wants to bet they're an item when we get back? He asked the girls. 100 for it doesn't happen, Cornelia said confidently. Me too, Elian said as those two beat around the bush with each other. I bet 20, Hei Lin said, thinking they'd finally become a couple. So where we heading? Karen A asked as they didn't decide on a main destination. Naruto smiled as he activated the seal of the Hiraishin he had set in place, making everyone and thing on the boat be teleported to it. Off the coast of Hawaii. It should take a day to get to the shore, Naruto thought as he set his Hiraishin kunai far from the coast. Of some of the locations he picked some closer or farther than others. He was brought out of his thoughts as his phone started vibrating. Meet in my room, Elian said quickly as she then hung up the phone. Okay, Naruto thought, setting the anchor down as it was night and he couldn't sail any further and he didn't want the ship didn't sway off course as he slept. Elian's room. When Naruto walked into the room he did not expect to see what he saw. Elian was currently on the floor thrusting into a blindfolded, tied up, and ring-gagged Hei Lin with a strap-on. Hey Naruto, Elian said with a smile. Hey, Naruto said, not knowing what else to say. Where'd you get the SEC toy? He asked, never really thinking he'd say that sentence. Irma, she borrowed your credit card and bought like a whole bag's worth of stuff, Elian said, stopping her thrusts into Hei Lin. So you want to join in? I promise it'll be fun, she said with a smirk before spanking Hei Lin. Hei Lin wanted this so bad and I couldn't refuse, she said as Hei Lin was a blushing nervous wreck when she asked Elian for this. Naruto just shrugged before he took off his clothes and walked over to the two, fully irked. Which hole do you want? Elian asked sultryly. Her peach, Naruto said as he wanted to try out Hei Lin's peach for a while. Let me lube you up, Elian said, getting on her knees and began eating Naruto off. I can't get enough of eating his pee-pee, she thought, then looked over to Hei Lin and smiled as she moved the blndfld so Hei Lin could see her pleasure. Naruto making her blush and rub her thighs together. Such a very needy SLT, she thought, quickening her pace in eating Naruto's pee-pee. After a little while more of Elian eating him off, Naruto decided it was enough and grabbed Hei Lin, lifting her up from behind, spreading her thighs, and began to move into her peach, getting a loud mmm out of Hei Lin. Hope you don't mind me joining in, Elian said, going to the front of Hei Lin and began to once again move into her soaking wet pee-pee. Hei Lin felt her muscles tense and momentarily resist the sensation of being penetrated in both her holes, but soon began to enjoy it. Elian soon removed the ring GG from Hei Lin's mouth and started French kissing her, making Naruto reach his limit as he then instinctually but lightly bit into her neck as he started to leak in Hei Lin's peach. Hei Lin screamed and started leaking very hard, drooling a little as she fainted. Naruto gently placed Hei Lin on the nearby bed, making sure she was comfortable before he looked toward Elian with a predatory gaze as he saw her loseful grin. You ready? "'Cause I'm nowhere near done," he said to her as she began to take off the strap-on. "I hope not," Elian said before pushing him into an empty bed and saddled herself on top of his pee-pee and began to bounce on it, enjoying how deep it went inside of her. You like being in control, huh? Naruto asked as Elian penetrated herself on his PP. I love it, Elian said in a pleasurable mmm. Bet you'll love this even more, Naruto thought, channeling his chakra to his PP, increasing the pleasure she felt as she soon screamed and climaxed. No fair, Elian said as she and the others knew Naruto had used his chakra to increase the pleasure they all felt every once in a while when he slept with each of them. Life isn't fair, Naruto said as he leaked inside Elian, and in her moments of euphoria he got her on her side, lifting up her leg as he continued to move into her. He's relentless, Elian thought as Naruto didn't cease his assault on her PP. Does he ever stop being hard? She thought as Naruto's PP never seemed to soften even after he leaked multiple times. Man, I love dominating you, my salty queen, Naruto said, seeing the pleasured smile on Elian's face. Yes, I'm your salty queen, F me wherever and whenever, Naruto. When we get back I want you to F me on my throne until it's covered and stained in both our juices, so every time I sit there I can remember how you F me like some cheap SLT, she said as she once again leaked. As Elian laid on Naruto's chest, Naruto saw Lin begin to stir. Lin looked over and saw Elian on top of Naruto, whose PP was still fully irked. As she got up to join them she stepped on the strap-on Elian used on her. You should use it, Lin, dish out what you took from Elian, Naruto said, mentally glad Terane made it so they could contact one another. Lin looked at the strap-on she had in her hand and put it on nervously as she approached the bed Naruto and Elian laid in. Hey Elian, I have a surprise for you, Naruto said with a smirk as Elian looked at him from laying on his chest. What dash, was all Elian could say before Naruto flipped her so her back was against his chest and grabbed both of Elian's legs, spreading her out. She saw Lin above her. The strap-on she used on Lin was now about to penetrate her. Let's see if you last as long as Lin, Naruto said as he penetrated Elian's peach while Lin penetrated her PP. Elian loudly from the double PNTRTN, screaming in joy as she wanted to be wrecked by the end of the night. Next morning. How the hell do you all wake up before me? Naruto asked as Lin and Elian were liking his PP. You F us so nicely we sleep like babies, Elian said as she easy fell asleep after being freshly F. Lin merely hummed in agreement as her vision seemed hazy as she was losing herself to the lust she felt for Naruto. Naruto soon leaked, covering both their faces, making them as Naruto shot rope after rope of juices on them. Elian and Lin soon started to lick each other, wanting to devour the juice that stained the other's body, savoring the taste of Naruto's juice, and after they finished they went up to Naruto, pushed him on his back, Lin positioning herself over his mouth and Elian above his PP, both then descended onto Naruto, who immediately began to move into Elian and eat out Lin. Best vacation ever, Elian said, feeling wave after wave of pleasure. Yeah, Lin said as she pulled Elian into a kiss, enjoying each other's unique taste along with some leftover traces of his juices. Will you shut the hell up and stop rocking the boat? Irma yelled as she was a little sleep deprived. Later. Coffee, Irma said in unenergized joy as she drank the lifesaver of many. Okay, I get it, I'm sorry, I'm so great at the things I do to all of you, Naruto said with a blush as he served everyone their breakfast. Great is too weak a word, Cornelia said with a smirk. He dominates us all like a Viking, Terane said as Naruto was very strong and had energy for days. Okay, so what do you guys want to do today? Naruto said, changing the subject. I don't know, tell us where we are first, babe. Irma asked as Naruto was being all cloak and dagger about where they were headed. Get your swimsuits, girls, cause we're in Hawaii, Naruto said, hearing them scream in excitement as they took off to their rooms. I'm gonna enjoy this vacation, Naruto said, thinking out loud as what more could a person ask, seeing appealing women he loved, appealing sights, and enjoying it with the people he cared for. Later. The girls were all on the main deck, seeing the yacht about to approach shore, all of them in simple bikinis with colors representing their elements. You guys want to do it tonight, Terane said as she just pitched an idea to the girls, who all nodded. Do what tonight? Naruto asked curiously. The girls just looked at him with smirks and remained silent. Later. You ready, Irma? Naruto asked the Water guardian, as all of them were at least 2 miles from the shore on surfboards. You got it, babe, Irma said, focusing her power as she drew in a wave toward them. Everyone smiled seeing the wave approach them as they started paddling, then jumping on top of their boards. Irma had no difficulty as her powers let her surf as gracefully and skillfully through the water almost as if we're at a professional level. Will was keeping up her swimming experience, helping her get a good grip on the board. Cornelia was doing surprisingly well as she kept her balance as she rode through the waves. Hey Lin, Elon, and Terene all wiped out instantly, having no idea how to surf whatsoever. Later. Everyone was currently scuba diving by a coral reef, seeing all types of fish and other sea creatures. Cornelia was a little nervous about the activity as she still had trouble with water-related activities, but Naruto guaranteed her that if something went wrong he'd teleport her out of there. Irma was enjoying her time up until a squid latched itself to her face and she struggled as it had a strong grip on her face, and when she managed to get it off it left a lot of suction marks on her face, but the squid continued to pester her. Elian and Terene swam with some stingrays grabbing hold of their oily skin as they glided with them. Will seemed at peace as she just floated in the water, feeling the light shine through the water, but was brought out of her peace of mind as Irma pinched her peach, the SLT, she thought, knowing she'd pay Irma back later. Naruto was also enjoying himself as the water here seemed clean and unpolluted. Nice to see the world hasn't polluted everywhere, he thought, enjoying the feeling of the nature around him. Later. Can you explain to me why we're at the top of a volcano? Cornelia asked as the heat was intense as they were so close to the peak. Well, while we're here I wanted to see if we could train a little, Naruto said, getting a groan from Cornelia and a raised eyebrow from Terene. Well, if we're training here, why is Cornelia here? Terene asked as she didn't see the point of Cornelia being here as the volcano was freakishly hot. I wanna see if you two can manipulate lava, Naruto asked as he saw the surprised looks on their faces, and before you say anything, lava is made up of both fire and earth, so together you should be able to manipulate it, he said, making them look at one another, but they then approached the volcano, focus on a specific spot and just drag it out, he said, as they needed to work together to channel an element made up of 2 basic elements. Terene and Cornelia focused and were able to bring up a sphere made of lava but kept it above the volcano as they knew one of them was fireproof and the other wasn't. The one that was fireproof also didn't want to find out if she could resist lava. As Naruto watched the girls manipulate the molten rock, he felt something as if a disturbance in nature itself as the girls practice. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 14. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author's pyrohelixdrago, KFB Anime 87 on fanfiction.net. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.